It's the number between 10 and 20.
Lag on me.
Or 30. Hey, do I want crispy or original?
I think we're live.
Oh shit!
There you go, talking about the women in your life again. Anyway,
right? Although this time it's about the chicken.
Oh, okay.
All right, what's up, fellas and ladies? It's the second episode of Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater, and of course, we got a regular crew. We've got a new guy with us. We're gonna go ahead and hit on some of the stuff we hit last week. We're gonna go ahead and talk some new topics. But first, let's get the boring part out of the way and go with intros. We'll go ahead and introduce our guest, Greg. Tell him where you're at.
What up, Greg?
Hey guys, I am the host or co-host, however you want to word that. Slightly above Josh, but not totally above Josh. And in the All Queued Up podcast. If you haven't heard it, we basically review Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime shows, and we give a grade at the end. It's a lot of fun. We just put an episode up today that was way too long, but then again, we did review 4 individual things. But yeah, other than that, you can follow me at ChubRuckGeek on Twitter. That's where I 90% of the time am. So,
Josh, I think he just called you a bottom in the most polite way ever.
I was just about to say that.
No. See,
Power bottom?
He was just making fun of the fact that I'm 80% of a man instead of 100% of a man. You know, with the lack of a little bit of leg there. That's all it was.
So you're half the man you used to be?
No, because I still have, a lot of parts.
He still has his pubes, Nick.
Yeah.
The worm cock is gonna get cold
already. Hashtag wormcock.
Hashtag cold worm cock. You took away
That's
all
right. I took away its blinky.
You know, the bald eagle's an endangered species, Nick, and you're out there destroying his habitat.
Yeah.
I made an artificial habitat. I got American.
For those who have no idea what we're talking about, just catch the next episode of Verbally Challenged.
Yeah,
or Candy X, and you'll
they'll come out one day.
Yeah, you'll see what we're yapping about. It was nice for him to have us all on. So
tell him where you're at, buddy, so that we can get through this shit and talk.
Who, me?
Josh!
Oh, me! Oh, I'm just sitting here in this wheelchair, apparently not paying the fuck attention.
No, Josh, I don't know you're up either, man. It's not just you, it's me.
No, well, see, you were going in about habitat destructions, and I just lost my shit.
Josh,
I'm sorry. Sarah McLachlan will be playing Angel any second now.
Josh, you know that Nick is the only one on here who's too poor to pay attention.
Oh.
I feel like this podcast. I
broke the podcast.
I think a better name for this podcast should be ADD Theater.
Yeah.
ADD Theater.
Yeah.
That's why it's a masterpiece shit piece.
Indeed.
Good show.
All right, next let's go with Rob Milton. Tell them where they can find you, buddy.
On them good books is Rob Milton, usually in the ROC. Rob's Robots at Instagram once in a great while. And here with you, beautiful bastards, every Friday night.
And we are pretty.
You are a sexy beast.
Thank you.
Hey, bald is beautiful.
Every once in a while.
Bald is beautiful, Russ. That's right.
Damn, I love all you bald motherfuckers. You just remind me of big. Never mind. Let me stop. Go ahead.
I'm gonna slide up in Anna's DMs right after the show.
Oh God,
we'll see how much you love me then.
That's all right. I'm gonna slide up in your DMs. I got you. What's up, baby? I'm gonna TF Con for you.
Russell, the love muscle. Where are you at?
Well, you know me steadily. You can catch me on Plastic Fanatics on Saturday nights, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I do all that shit. Yeah, Instagram. And of course, this lovely show every Friday night. I'm with these gentlemen, and they bring out the beast in me.
It doesn't.
Gross.
Sammy Mead.
What up, fellas? You can find me on Instagram at Insta_Sam89 and then Sam Mead, and on Facebook, creeping around in the realm all the time.
Sweet. And y'all know me. I'm Nick Brammer, Masterpiece Shitpiece. You can find me wherever, under whatever. I'm easy. Just one
He's so
quick...
energetic tonight, by the way. So
I think that's his farmersonly.com profile.
Yeah.
I'm easy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm easy at farmersonly.com.
Nice.
There we go. I just want to give a real quick shout out before we get into everything. We had a really nice positive response. We got a lot of shout outs on certain shows on the Cool Table Network. I want to especially thank James for actually subbing live on his show. That was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Brian Brink giving us a nice shout out on Enter the Realm. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Herrick and BX's Verbally Challenged this week when it comes out will be all of us except for our guest. But yeah,
Sorry,
we had a great
Greg.
Sorry, Greg.
Sorry, Jose.
We had a great time doing that show, and we'll love to have Jose and other members of the community on, including you, Walter. We see you in the chat.
Walter, what up?
What's up, Walt? We'll get you in here at some point.
Walter, slide up in them DMs, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
First order of business. Last week we started off with Movie Pass and them having to take out that emergency loan, cutting their unlimited service, and they just came out a couple of days ago and said that they are cutting down their service to 3 movies a month for the same price.
RIP.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
It's done.
When did that start?
I think just this year or last year.
I was thinking too, man. Like it within the most probably last year, right?
Yeah. So probably within 8 to 10 months with a service that could, if they had done it right, could have, been profitable and actually useful.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to be dying a slow death. There's no way people are going to pay that price for 3 movies a month, and it's sad.
Wow.
Ooh, Deluxe
it was
Deluxe
a great
taking
idea,
a poop and watching us.
Oh shit! Yeah,
that's kind of awesome, Deluxe. I'm glad we can entertain you while you're evacuating yourself. That's nice.
That's kind of like a badge of honor to be watched on Deluxe's shitter.
It is.
I know. I'm impressed. That's
I'm proud.
So, I got a quick question about the Movie Pass thing. How much a month is it? Because I haven't been keeping up with it super close.
It's expensive. I think it was like $25.
Yeah, it was $24.99 the last time I looked at it,
and that was for unlimited. And now they've scrolled it back to fucking $3 a month.
And then don't they only let you do like certain movies?
That's right. You can't see certain things when they open. It's very restrictive in the first place, and there's no model going forward for them to survive.
Yeah.
Unless they completely restructure it and take off some of those restrictions and limitations, which I don't see them doing.
You gotta know that going in, because I feel like for them to start it out the way they did, and then as they go to take things away, like that just doesn't sit right with people.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Just a heads up, I pulled it up real quick on screen too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For them, so.
I haven't looked at this in a while. It was $24.99 when I looked at it. Right now, they're advertising unlimited at $10 a month and 3 movies at $7.95 a month.
That's impossible.
Exactly.
I don't see how they can make a profit on that amount.
There's no way they can make a profit on that amount.
But you just have to see old movies that have been out for
yeah. On Friday, you'll be able to see Casablanca.
Yeah.
Enjoy Bogart.
That sucks so much.
I've always wanted to see Citizen Kane. I wonder if that'll be covered.
Yeah, it'll come out in 2020.
Rosebud.
I feel like.
Did you want to go see Breakfast at Tiffany's and watch a racist Mickey Rooney?
Yeah, we can do that. Or maybe we can go see Jaws.
No, that's how I lost my leg. Fucking sharks.
Goddamn sharks.
Yeah.
Ever since that movie, people have been staying out of the water.
Yeah, we need to
we
eliminate
got a comment last week from Sam Thompson about a service that they have in the UK, and he said it's about 17 pounds, I believe. Somebody do math. I don't care.
That's probably about
25 bucks.
That's about 9 kilos.
It's 9
Nice.
kilos. All right. Only
All right, he
kilos.
translated it into cocaine. Cocaine speak.
That's right. Kilos and to go up my nose. But
23 bucks.
23 bucks.
About the same.
That's an unlimited movie service over in the UK. Doesn't seem to have any restrictions, and he gets a fucking discount on fucking concessions.
Ooh, that's the kicker. But
yeah,
so, like, how long did he say? How long they've been doing that, Nick?
No, I didn't
Or
pay
like
attention.
how long? Because I wonder if that's like the same thing they did here, where like they just started it, and they're gonna do the
I
same.
don't know. There's another service somebody else was talking about in the chat last week, and it sounded better. Like Jose was saying, I think it's called Stub or something.
Yeah.
StubHub? No,
not StubHub.
No, it wasn't
just
StubHub.
Stubbs card.
I think it was
Like
just called
AMC?
Stub or something.
Yeah.
We have AMC, and they give you like a Stubbs card. Like it's like just a basic rewards thing. Like you see enough movies, and they give you a free ticket. But I don't know if that's what they were talking about.
I don't know.
Yeah. So like that the whole idea of that, I think to me sounds cool, but like with these damn kids I got here at home, man, I can barely ever get to see a movie. Like it's maybe once every 2 months. So like I'm out of the service just with that.
Yeah.
But then even now, like I would never get back in because like I have to be so choosy with the movies I see, and I only see stuff that just comes out. Like if I get this precious time to go see a movie, I'm not going to see something that's 3 weeks old. At that point, I'm just going to wait till it's on Netflix, you know? So,
Yeah. It's already been spoiled at that point.
yeah, exactly. And I think so it just like their days are numbered, and that number's small, you know?
KJ Smith.
The positive thing out of all this.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
So the positive thing is it's going to bring out a lot of new competition for that kind of service.
Yep,
So
definitely.
we'll see new things that will actually benefit the consumer.
Yeah. But at that price point, do you think it's even going to be viable? I mean, you're talking unlimited.
Not at $9.99 a month, but
Not-
$24.99 would be.
Because from what I was reading, they were paying full price for each ticket.
Ooh. Now, if MoviePass was actually paying full price for every ticket, and they were only charging, then they $24.99 for the unlimited plan, then they're absolutely going to be hemorrhaging money. That's dumb.
Well, even worse,
They would want to work out a deal with the theaters that they
Right.
cater to.
But let me ask you, did they limit what theaters you could go to and stuff with this?
I don't know that, but
Yes.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Okay, because I know I go, like Anna and I are spoiled. We go to like nice theaters, you know what I'm saying? I like to drink beer and shit and eat nice food when I'm watching the movie. So I'm a little bit of a bitch, like diva bitch like that. And it's not her, it's me. But so when I heard this, I was like, well, I could do that. I guess I'll get a cheaper ticket to go. But I was like, there's no way they're like hooked up with like the high end theaters. There's no way. I can't see it. It has to be limited to like the, you know, your normal Regal and shit like that, you know, things like that. I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. I looked up the theater that we go to as a marquee.
Okay.
And it doesn't work with MoviePass.
Right. Okay, that makes
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
KJ Smith said in the chat a minute ago when we were talking about that other service, AMC Stub Card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have.
But that's got to be something, being AMC, that's going to be directly related to the AMC theater chain, so they can work that. They've got an established theater presence there, and they're working with it themselves.
Definitely. I can't think of a theater around me that I've seen, I mean, my whole life that wasn't AMC. Like,
Right.
I literally think we only have AMC around us. So
Yeah. Both of our theaters in town are AMC, so
yeah.
We got Regal.
yeah. We've
We
got
had one,
Well,
but
that's
they got bought
AMC
out.
Regal, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they got bought out. So
But yeah, fuck you, Movie Pass. You're a shit business. Stop cheating people.
Tell us how you really feel about Movie Pass, Nick.
Yeah,
I do.
Trash.
I do. Fuck them. Fuck them right.
He just whispers into the mic, "Hire me."
They're made of
Pass.
Not a
Hire me and I will
man.
fix you. All right. I think we gave enough time to the shitty business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck that
Speaking
movie.
of shitty business,
Yeah, Deluxe.
no, not Deluxe.
He said
Oh.
Deluxe.
Deluxe is awesome. We love Deluxe.
Well, he was shitty.
No, I was referring to
IGN.
the IGN
Oh, yeah.
debacle.
Yeah, you go ahead and take lead on this, Josh.
Okay, yeah, Josh, I want to hear more about this IGN shit. What's up?
All right, let me pull it up. I didn't know if you had it pulled up or not. What happened basically is recently a game came out called Dead Cells.
Okay.
And it's a roguelike.
Yeah, I've been playing it.
Yeah, Greg, he actually has been streaming it over on another.
It plays like a Castlevania game, so it's action packed and side scroll, but it plays like a roguelike where if you die, everything you collect goes away, and when you play a game, you have to start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Very good game. I highly recommend it if that sounds like anything you're interested in. But
yeah, it looks fun as hell.
Okay.
What happened was there's this small YouTube channel called Boomstick Gaming. They posted their 4-minute video review of Dead Cells on their channel on July 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a small channel. They've only got 16,000 followers. They average under 5,000 views a video.
Okay.
IGN, they're the biggest gaming website on the internet.
That's right.
Their YouTube channel has over 10 million subscribers.
Yeah, they get exclusive shit to everything, dude.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Boomstick Gaming noticed that IGN's video review of Dead Cells was beat for beat, almost word for word, his exact review.
Damn.
He actually does a breakdown on his YouTube channel, and he is showing the timestamps, and it's almost the exact length devoted to each thing he's talking about in the same order. Just high school level of plagiarism. Certain words changed around or sentence structures changed.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
still talking about the same thing.
It was right down to cadence, even.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot on the internet people claiming that somebody from IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, what have you,
they're all the same, right?
Plagiarizing. Like I've seen it before, but it's usually like a bit of a stretch on the person claiming. And so I watched this video because an ex-IGN employer named Alana Pierce, she tweeted out a thing about a 7-year-old who made a game that was on Steam and was like the 4th best-selling game of the day. A 7-year-old. Keep that in mind. Fucking crazy. Wow. But a guy decided like that was the time on that post he needed to make a comment about the plagiarism. And I was like, what the hell is this all about? So I like did some deep diving on it, watched Boomstick Gaming's video. I was like, holy shit, it's like you could argue that it's the exact same video, like just with different footage or like slightly different footage,
right?
Different gameplay.
He basically ripped the script.
Yeah, well, for me, it's so weird to see because it's actually quite a rare occurrence to see that type of plagiarism. If you like. The problem with this whole scenario is that a game like Dead Cells doesn't really have a whole lot that you can kind of bring to the table and talk about in terms of a review. Like everyone's playing the exact same game, and if you like it on the same level as somebody else, you're probably going to have the same opinion. And if you read or watch other people's opinions on the game, they're very similar to Boomstick Gaming's and or the guy who did the one for IGN. However, it's not so much about the opinion that was an issue. It was quite literally like the beat for beat identical phrasing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so
the order of the review, everything was all spot for spot.
Even the timestamps, at like the 3:07 mark, the exact same thing is said. At the 15-second mark and the 20-second mark, one versus the other, the exact same thing is said. IGN, once it was brought to their attention, they said, "Oh, you know what? He's gone." They booted the guy. They fired him.
Damn.
And the fucking guy was like fucking bragging, "Oh, this is the first review I've edited for IGN too."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in his Twitter feed, that's what he tweeted. Yeah. And then a couple days later, you see when it broke, they're like, somebody, they're starting tweeting at him. Yeah, this is the first ever video review I plagiarized on my own for IGN. And the guy's Twitter account has been dead silent, since this happened a couple days ago.
That's wild to me that guy, the dude from IGN, the one that plagiarized, wouldn't be aware of that smaller. I'm obviously, from what I'm hearing, he had to have seen the video. But to me, how is he not, or how did he think that he could do that without other people being aware of that smaller channel?
My guess is
because he's probably thinking 10 million is such a vastly bigger number than 16,000.
Right.
The guy that boosted gaming's videos hit maybe 200 views a pop. So that's what he was paying attention to.
Yeah. Now, is IGN owned by BuzzFeed?
I don't think they're owned by BuzzFeed.
No, because fucking BuzzFeed does the same exact thing. I follow my new celebrity crush, Jacqueline Glenn. She's an atheist. She's a atheist, talking head kind of, and fucking BuzzFeed just fucking completely did the same thing to her. Fucking timestamp for timestamp. She did a video on Wiccans doing crystal magic and bullshit like that.
Oh, you're gonna say crystal meth. So they have to be
method, baby. But fucking, so they plagiarized that one, and they actually used the same exact shop she went to and everything like that. So that's why I asked if BuzzFeed owned them.
No, I think IGN is IGN owns IGN. I know IGN owns Humble Bundle too.
Its parent company is J2 Global.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say
here's the thing, though.
Yeah. Go ahead.
IGN totally did the right thing in this situation by canning the guy.
Oh yeah.
What
else
they're like,
hire someone else, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't hired anybody else yet, but one of the head guys, Dan Sharpton over there, who I started following on Twitter because when Kotaku and Polygon put out their review for oh my god, what's the game called? It's the Lord of the Rings game that just came out.
Shadows
of Mordor. Thank you. They were basically in the review saying that in order to complete the game, you have to spend real world money, that you have to buy microtransactions, and that just wasn't the case. And Dan Sharpton and numerous other reviewers had come out were like, that's bullshit because we beat the game without buying anything. So the hell are you talking about? But I started following him because of that, and he had tweeted out this whole thing about it was a really rough day in the IGN office because when one reviewer plagiarizes, it affects the whole company.
Yeah,
and unfortunately,
definitely, that gives them a bad name.
Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of people who are going to assume that, quote unquote, as a blanket statement, IGN plagiarizes, and that's just not the case. That's just not how it works over there. And
this guy was a fairly new employee to IGN too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Less than a year.
Right.
I don't think that, in my personal opinion, I don't think you should hold an entire company accountable for one person's actions.
Well, I tell you what, if they hadn't done anything about it, I would hold them accountable. Yeah. But the fact that they whacked his ass tells
they did
me
the right thing.
Absolutely. They acted upon it because a company does become liable when they ignore shit.
Right.
Then they become part of it.
That can happen again easily,
Yeah.
What's interesting to me about another aspect to this is that the guy, Boomstick Gaming, he was tweeting at Colin Moriarty, who used to work at IGN, then left, started working with Kind of Funny and Greg Miller, and then left them due to creative differences. But Carlo Moriarty tweeted out, like, this is going to be an interesting thing to see where it goes. And
Right.
Boomstick tweeted at him and said, like, I really appreciate IGN, going to the extent of acknowledging it and trying to fix it, but I really hope the guy doesn't lose his job over this. And Boomstick Gaming legitimately feels guilty that he cost a man his job for this thing.
Oh, he deserved
And everyone's trying to...
All
Yeah,
he
well,
wanted
that's what
was
everyone's trying to tell the guys, like,
a credit. It's like, how about you just credit me and compensate me for the review?
Right.
That's all.
Right, but as a parent company, you
absolutely.
have to be responsible for the content that your employees put out. Somebody's plagiarizing usually is a serial thing.
Well, and you can bet that if it were one of their senior staff, somebody that's been there for a long time, there would have been a repercussion, but you bet he would have still had his job. But this guy's been there, like Greg said, probably less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's doing it right out of the gate. There's precedence for this in the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't accept that because it opens
Well,
you to liability.
Guy's entire journalism career.
Yeah,
He'll never work in journalism again.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, man. Because like, I know on YouTube is a savage place sometimes. I mean, I've seen all. I mean, we all know we there's a reviewer that we all love, Scully Boy. You know what I'm talking about? Mr. Bobby. Yeah. Well, I mean, remember when that douchebag was literally taking Bobby's videos and reloading them on his own channel?
Yeah.
I mean,
he told Bobby to go screw.
Yeah, what a shithead, and that's why YouTube is such an insane place. People will do some shady stuff on there, man.
Have you guys ever heard of freebooting?
What's freebooting?
Freebooting is taking someone's content via YouTube or Instagram or what have you and uploading it to a different site.
Yeah, that's what they did.
So if you're ever on,
okay. So they'll like take something off and then load it up on another site as their own.
Yeah. And then that content creator gets no compensation. So I've seen it where a few of the people that I follow, like there's a voice actor named Brock Baker, and he'll do all these voice impressions, and then he'll upload it to his channel, get like 20,000 views, and then you'll see it on some Instagram or Facebook account where it got like 200,000 views.
Well, that was a big issue.
Sees none of that.
Yeah, that was a big issue with Facebook. When Facebook started doing the monetized videos, people were grabbing shit off of YouTube, off of these popular channels, and slapping it right up on the Facebook feeds.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Shit. It's wild out there, man. People will jack each other left and right,
Dude, I used to follow some stunt riders in the motorcycle community, and they were having a big problem with that. And theirs, like, they go and they get 20, 30,000 views on their YouTube channel. All of a sudden, this Facebook video that somebody else has stolen and posted up is getting 800,000 views or some crazy ass number, and they're not seeing a dime of that revenue.
Yeah, not a dime. Dude.
I mean, look, YouTube already screws people over enough with shit nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean, it's terrible when you hear about that happening to people. I don't know. It sucks.
If I tried to monetize this thing, they'd fuck me over in a second.
Yeah, we killed monetization.
We would be flagged.
Yeah, I was like, you're not advertiser friendly.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that. I mean, there's pros and cons to doing that. But for those that do it, I mean, they should get paid for their content. I respect that. So.
I'm all for monetized YouTube content if it's your own content.
Right, it's your own content, exactly. But it sucks when you hear about people stealing each other's shit. It hurts the shit.
Yeah, and if we ever get shit from YouTube, we'll just go straight to Vimeo or some shit.
Well, we're bowing out, baby.
If they don't ban us today after the Wormcock thing, I think we're safe.
That's just gross. I mean, it's not like it's terrible hate speech.
All right, valid point.
Don't take us to that level.
Well,
we're not there
even
yet.
Wormcock anymore. I think it's more like of a sandworm from Beetlejuice.
You better moisturize then.
Tremors.
You said,
oh man.
That's funny.
All right. So how about we move on to our next thing with the current environment of pushing games out before they're finished, and basically you only get a full game if you buy DLC.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Whoa.
Not a fan.
Whoa. Who the fuck did that?
Actually, we have a really good example of a success story, and there's plenty of failure stories for it. No Man's Sky came out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
There was a big push for this game by basically Sony forced the developer to push it out before it was done. There was a lot of promises made. The guy who owns was it Hello Games was making a lot of big statements in his press, and the game came out and it was not even close. I mean,
okay, but I would argue that was that he fell victim to him hyping it up too much, and I think just the hype for the game itself was huge. I remember I was excited.
Yeah.
Now, here's what they did though. He did make the promise, I'm gonna keep pushing updates. I'm gonna give you this stuff for free.
Right.
Now we've seen stuff like anything EA touches, they push it out. If it's messed, it's gonna be fixed in DLC. And you're gonna pay for that fix. No Man's Sky is these updates. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Why do you guys think this happens? Because I guarantee you, a lot of people have an idea, but it's usually not exactly why they think it happens.
Publishers get behind on deadlines.
Right. Over-promising with the deadline that you have, and then you've got the publishers. It's not so much the developers. The developers are doing everything they can. It's the publishers trying to push the stuff out to meet deadlines that they set and to start the revenue stream flowing in. You know, when you see this stuff pushed out, like No Man's Sky, I'll give them a lot of credit. They came out and this latest update they just pushed, it is 95% of the game they promised from the beginning, and it was huge.
Yeah, I've got to get on it. I haven't played it in a while. I need to get those new updates and everything and get on it again, try it out. Because one of the reasons I quit playing because I was so disappointed.
I mean, you got people literally jumping back into this game in droves right now. You know, and there's still some teething issues with it. There was still their good old games can't push out the multiplayer update yet.
Okay,
there was something to do with DRM and whatnot that stopped that. But they are an example of one of the few companies that has continued to build content on a game that was lackluster and offer it for free.
Right.
You know, now I get. There's a lot of these publishers, I get why they're trying to push the games out, but at the same time, if you've got a game that is that broken in play testing and in pre-develop and pre-screening before they publish, they need to put the brakes on, and they're not willing to do it anymore. You know,
there's a huge reason why this happens, and a lot of people don't know about it because it's not talked about widely, but
right.
A big issue that to why a game is released without full content, why there's so much DLC, why there's so many, most games have microtransactions, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that studios in general are not willing, publishers primarily, are not willing to wait for the content to be made, because the longer that it's in production, the longer or the more it costs.
Right.
And with pop, that's not enough. You can have a game hyped to hell, have it $60 release, but if it takes 5 years of development time, it will not succeed.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even opposed. I'm not opposed to DLC and even microtransactions to some extent. I mean, you got a game like, take Overwatch, for example. That's a great example of microtransactions done right.
Honestly, most microtransactions are done right. There's a few examples that people love to use, and that's let's say Battlefront 2.
Right.
Well, most of EA games don't even do that. Like that was a rare occurrence for them to basically, which you were boned if you didn't spend money in the multiplayer, which is the bread and butter of that game.
Right.
But even other EA games, like let's take their sports titles, for example, their microtransactions are maybe a little dubious, but not to the extent that Battlefront 2 was.
No,
I think a lot of people.
That was a glaring example.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are always going to use that, but from my perspective, when I have to do that, the other video game podcast that I do, a lot of people they legitimately say out loud that $60 is enough for a game, and that they shouldn't have to pay more than that. Period, and that when they buy a game for $60, it should be a fully released game. No, and I agree on a level, but if I'm paying for a game that has just a metric fuck ton, of content, then I shouldn't be paying such a low price.
Yeah, no,
I think that games should cost what they took to
hear
make.
That, Greg, but I think a lot of people's problem is like getting the whole fucking pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like if you get you want a pepperoni pizza and you get a pepperoni pizza, and then someone's like, hey, give me this much more money, we can put sausage on there or bacon on it, like that, to me that's like added to it. But if I ordered like a pepperoni pizza and they just gave me like some dough and sauce, and we're like, we got to pay for the cheese and for the pepperoni, I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's not.
That's kind of my thing. Like, I think one of the biggest things is fighting games. Fighting games, you get sucked into that season pass until the fucking Game of the Year edition comes out, and it costs the amount of 2 games, and then like 6 months to a year later, you're paying less than you paid for the fucking original game to get a full roster full of characters.
Yeah. Now, see, I mess around with a lot of racing games like Forza. Forza is a big thing of mine. I'm not opposed to DLC. Give me a complete, fixed and polished game with a lot of content out of the gate. Don't make me pay for DLC to fix it.
Yeah,
that's where I get annoyed. And going back several years, Spore was a good one for that one. That game was horribly broken, and they put out a couple updates, and then nothing else got fixed until you started paying for DLC packs.
Yeah.
And then there's been a couple others since then. Well, like, Forza, I'll buy the hell out of some car packs, and I'll buy the expansions and all that. I don't mind paying for new content. But don't take content out that was developed and ready for the game when it was ready to go to press. Now, I understand there's a pretty good gap, and a lot of people don't think about this either. There's a big gap between a finished product in gold and the pressing and the release in the stores. And that whole time, that developer's still making content. So like day one DLC that was developed in that time period, things like that, I understand that. I'm okay with that. It does make sense because they had that development cycle after it went to press.
Yeah, but go ahead.
When you yank stuff out or the game comes out broken and they're expecting payment to fix it, or you're having to buy upgrade packs and things like that to fix problems with the game, that's starting to become an issue.
Yeah,
I can understand that, but again, like I said, mostly what I play is fucking fighting games. So I pay $60 for Street Fighter 5, and then I pay for the season pass, which is what, 50?
Well, it depends on the games. It's anywhere usually
from 30 to 50
bucks.
Yeah, to 30 to 50 bucks, and then they go ahead and release Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition for 30 bucks a year or two later.
I understand where you're coming from there, but at the same time, by paying for that season pass, it helps to continually fund the development of the new content that does come, that you are going to get immediately once it's made available to you. And as a reward for getting extra, you don't have to wait like somebody who's going to wait another year or two for the Game of the Year edition and get it at a discounted price because everything's there, instead of you've already been able to enjoy that. It's just, that's a matter of personal choice to me.
Those Game of the Year editions, they're a Hail Mary pass to make money at the end of the game's cycle.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fine.
This is a capitalistic industry, so they're always looking to make money.
That was the point I was about to make. Is like my kids are they hate microtransactions in games. They very much rage against it. And I tell them, I said, well, look, how are you gonna tell a gaming company they can't make money Yeah, well, off their content. That's it. You're the one that you got to make a choice to whether to get the stuff or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not they're shoving it down your throat. I mean, it's. I think I agree with Rob. Where I get upset is when when it's a fix for a game and they're trying to don't try to sneak it in with another DLC.
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit. I'm still paying for the fix. That's part of it.
I mean,
that's also pretty rare from my experience. Like I don't see that a lot.
I know it's only happened a few times that I've heard of. I don't think it does happen very often because I think gaming companies have learned that people are going to blow their top on that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
stupid.
Now I'm not buying fighting games when they release. I'm not doing it anymore. There's no fucking reason to.
Actually, Jose in the chat was talking about his comment here brings up a good point in all this too. Even if it's not paid DLC, he says he's holding out on games now. That brings in another side to the culture. Things like, we'll take No Man's Sky as an example again. The people that got that game on launch got hosed. So now these companies, a lot of buyers now. I mean, how do you think this is going to affect buyers looking at games and going, well, I'm not going to buy this day one because I'm going to wait for all these updates free, whether they're free or paid, even if they're putting them out free. Why would I pay for this on launch?
Can I give a little bit of a devil's advocate towards that comment alone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like Josh said, when you buy a game day one, you're getting to play it before anybody else. You're getting to play it before the people who buy the Game of the Year edition, right?
Right.
So there's that benefit. But also, wouldn't you argue that when you go and see a film, you don't know if it's going to be good or not, and you might still waste your money?
Well, there's a difference between it being good and being broken. It's like what I'm talking about is more akin to.
Tell that to Tommy Wiseau.
Right? game breaking bugs versus it's like seeing the movie and going, this wasn't great, or seeing the movie and going, oh shit, the projector just quit in the middle of the film and they're not turning it back on.
And see, like my movie analogy for what I'm saying is like if you went to go see a Marvel movie and had to pay for the fucking end credits.
Or if you went to see a movie and you paid $10 for a ticket, but the CGI wasn't done.
Yeah,
and you could pay $15 for a ticket. That was done.
I'm going to argue that's not necessarily the case with No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky still had a lot of content. It still had a lot of stuff you could do, and I knew numerous people who played through the entire game, got to the center of the galaxy, and then were done playing it. It's that extra content, that stuff that Sean Murray was kind of spouting, that got people pissed off. It was this idea that, and this happens like more times than I care to count.
Mm-hmm.
That to a developer, it's never going to be exactly what you expect it to be. You look at E3 and you look at the games that are announced on stage footage is always different than the actual game footage. I remember when Division was being announced, they were like, you can have your friends with phones come in as drones. That never exists in the game, but nobody bitches about that because it's not a No Man's Sky situation. It's to me, the idea that when you say I'm not going to buy a game day one, even like I get a broken game. A broken game is something that's glitchy, is something that doesn't work, is something that doesn't work out like you want it to. To me, that goes in lieu with like a film not working out like you want it to.
I'm not talking about bad games. I'm talking about games that add content later.
Yeah,
I'm only bringing up the No Man's Sky situation because everyone's claiming it was a bad game, and then they added content to fix it.
It legit wasn't, and the fact that he actually brought the content out and didn't charge for it was pretty amazing. Mine comes more now. I'm a huge Bethesda fan. I will support that company and stand up for them no matter what. But there's been a lot of reality lately where their games are launching with just severe game-breaking bugs that literally stop you mid storyline. The save files are corrupting, and it happens all the time with Bethesda titles on launch. And now it's always fixed within a couple of weeks after launch. But
Rob, is that a free fix that they do, or?
Oh yeah, that was
a free fix.
Bethesda will stand by their stuff. 95% of it will get fixed. I mean, there's always weird stuff in Bethesda, but with their games in the world that it's not surprising.
It's super rare to see a company charge for a fix. Like that's
right.
If you see that, the game's dead.
Yeah.
We're to a point with Bethesda where even me, I mean, I'm a diehard Bethesda fan, and I'm looking at games going, I know I'm going to buy this, but why am I buying it day one? Because I'm going to want to play it day one, and I know it's going to be broken. Why don't I just wait a month, wait for the patches to come out, and how is that going to reflect on their sales? Because a lot of their numbers and their statuses, it's like movies. You get that big push right in the beginning. Oh, we made this much in box office, that much in box office, first weekend sales, yeah.
So
But
one
now
of the
that-
major things on that.
Go ahead, Greg.
On that point is you're going to actually see a lot more studios taking time with development instead of spending, $100 million in 2 years to make a game. They're now going to stretch that $100 million over the course of 4 years, and you're going to see better products come out because of it, because of this last decade of gaming.
Right. I'm hoping
there is a
that's
benefit to all of this. But
that's what we're hoping for, but
Wow.
you're going to see a lot more of that. Well, one of the big things that's causing this, one of the huge things that's causing this, is indie games. The indie market is massive right now.
Right.
I mean, for Christ's sake, Shovel Knight, a game that was kickstarted by an indie developer, is going to be in Smash Brothers. That's huge.
That's cool.
So they're going to see just a metric fuck ton of that now.
Yeah. Look at Cuphead. Cuphead was that was kickstarted or indie started and got picked up by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And that was
that was also a situation where Microsoft did not intentionally overhype that game, and when the studio asked for more time, Microsoft gave it to them.
Right.
Where that's not what happened with Hello Games and Sony. It's also brilliant for Hello Games to kind of break from Sony there and release it on Xbox as well. That was
Oh yeah, that's the way I'm playing it. So
for me, when you talk about a game being broken day one and them having to release patches, it's just indicative with how these publishers force their studios to run. And you talk to people in the industry who work at these studios, and they basically tell stories about how they're working 12 to 13 hours a day for a whole year because they have to push the work on this game as hard as they can because there's not enough time.
Yeah,
I've got a half-finished game.
I've got all the love in the world for the developers. It's not the studios doing it. It all comes back to the publishers, especially if you're dealing with the big, the EA, the Activision, those guys. They are cramming deadlines.
EA is learning their lesson.
You think so?
I can confidently say EA is learning their lesson. At E3, so people argue that the E3 press conference was really bad, or EA's E3 press conference. But when they talked about their games and they talked about DLC, it was way different. Especially the guy who worked on the guy that came out on stage and was talking about Battlefront 3, Battlefront 2. He basically was sitting there saying we messed up. We know we messed up, and we're making changes. We're making drastic changes, and all DLC that we have coming out for the game is going to be free, hands down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when EA kind of talked about, not at the conference per se, but at E3, about future updates and DLC for their other games, it was very much in the same mindset of, we don't want to piss off our audience again. We've already pissed them off enough, and we need to fix it. So I feel like they're learning their lesson, but we'll see over time.
They've been pissing them off for the better part of a decade at this point because it all started years ago, about the same time. Because PC gaming had that big push right around the time of the Xbox and the PS2 era. It started back with that, and then it really kind of kicked off with the Xbox 360 and the PS3 generation when they launched. EA started really pulling their shenanigans then.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm holding EA at an arm's length right now with their trust. Because they absolutely could tomorrow release a game that has the same bullshit as Battlefront 2, but I think the thing that bothers me the most is, and it's kind of like you said, how you trust the developer, you don't trust the publisher, is that these developers are getting completely boned because of their publishers.
Right.
A perfect example of this a few years ago was with Destiny and Activision. You know, Bungie had all content for year one, had this great idea for what they wanted to do, and it was all pushed back and had to completely be re-scrapped. And people who worked at Bungie and Halo for years left right after Destiny's release because their contract was up and they didn't have to re-sign. They're like, fuck working with Activision, that was a mistake, which the internet was like, we could have told you.
What, the internet could have told somebody about something? What?
Honestly, the only thing that Activision doesn't mess with is Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're even trying to
Blizzard
get
has their own problems.
Right.
Well, you guys have all talked about companies that do it wrong. What about companies that do it right? Like, I mean, Santa Monica Studio, they seem to really do a hell of a job.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'll throw the card back out for Bethesda there too.
Yeah, yeah. Bethesda seems to hit pretty good. Now Bethesda did. I mean, for Skyrim, I mean, Bethesda did do DLCs, and you had to pay for them. But I will say they were fairly inexpensive, and they added a lot of really good content to the game.
Oh, and then it was all
so
DLC. I am not above paying for DLC. I will pay for some fresh content.
So will I. I love that shit.
Man, Fallout, same thing, dude. If
Fallout
dropped, all of them.
Yeah, Fallouts are there. All the Fallouts are fantastic. My son introduced me to those games, and now I'm like addicted to that shit. I can't stop playing it.
even turn 10 with the Forza Motorsport stuff. Like, I've always bought the car packs and the additional tracks and like Forza Horizon, dude. If it came out, I bought it.
Well, see, that's cool, and that's awesome that they're doing that. You know, there are companies that do things like that, and it's optional to buy it. Obviously, it is. You know, it has to. So you know, I don't hate on all that stuff. I really like a lot of that. I think it's just the way some companies do it. Sometimes maybe rubs people the wrong way. I don't know. Right?
It's all the publisher, guys. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, it's almost never the developer. Like, there's
I would agree with that.
I think my favorite Cinderella story as of recent time is with Epic Games and Fortnite. They made a game that sold like ass. They made borderline nothing off that game, and they had to do something to sell that game, and they just bid off of the PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, the battle royale model. And like, you look at how popular Fortnite is, it's hard to ignore it.
What's Fortnite?
Right, exactly.
Fuck you.
But you have Fortnite's microtransactions, and it's really, really brilliant. Like, you can play the game for free without anything else.
Yeah.
But the way that they do their microtransactions is they every day reset what you can buy, and then there's like epic skins that you can buy weekly. But they also have a thing called the Battle Pass, which costs $10 every 3 months.
That's what that
and
was
that
called.
comes with it's a load of content. It's just that you have to grind out for you to play the game. It's absolutely brilliant. On that note, though, I have a friend who lives in Northern Raleigh and is friends with people who know people at Epic Games, and he was at this party talking to some of the guys who work at Epic Games, and they're absolutely sick of Fortnite. Because they've been working on that game for 6-7 years now.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's such a shit situation because I think a lot of people have knee-jerk reactions to it.
Yeah.
They hear DLC or they hear microtransactions and they immediately demonize the company or the studio for doing it. And it's like, you have to put a lot of things in perspective to understand what's going on.
Well,
you have to.
I think part of the demonizing that is because of, Activision. A lot of other companies have done shady shit. I think we try to.
Sure.
Sometimes people can't compartmentalize. They kind of.
That's
right. Yeah.
Right.
It's not right, but it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, and my goal with the podcast that I do and just streaming in general is try to get people to look at each situation as its own thing and not immediately kill it. Because there was a game that came out not too long ago, Evolve. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
That one got
way too
much.
that guy unfairly got beat on, and I blame a lot of that on Jim Sterling. But the DLC in that game was just skins. That was it. It was like day one skins. That was it. No, nothing else in that DLC that you could buy was
extra content.
Forced.
Yeah, and in the realm of content for a game, a skin is literally a minute worth of work in comparison to the development of the whole game. It's something they can pull together real fast.
They cost like $2 a pop.
Yeah,
like they were nothing. And the game just got completely shit on because of that. And it really upset me. Like, I remember I argued that online frequently. Because somebody would sit there and say that, like, they would quote the Jim Sterling fucking episode where Jim Sterling's making this big stink about how this is the future of the industry. They release a game and then they have a bunch of content that they release day one. It's like, no, they're releasing all that content day one because the game cost more to make than $60 a pop. And I think it was EA or Activision, whatever publisher was wary on the fact it was a new IP.
Yeah,
it was a new IP that was multiplayer only.
And that, but
like, you can't.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll say you can't expect. Like, that's another thing. You can't expect a publisher to be totally like on board with a AAA title that's a completely new IP. They're going to prevent risks.
Yeah, but that comes back down to that's additional content that's likely developed from that time period of gold press to retail sale in that couple month gap there. I mean, skins, stuff like that, they can keep pumping that out and have it ready for when the game launches and start making that additional revenue. That's cool.
And again, once again, though, it's optional. No one's shoving shit down people's throats. I can't stand when people bitch about stuff that's available because they might not be interested in it or they don't want to pay for it. Fuck you. Maybe I want to pay for it, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, it's what was it, Destiny? Destiny 2, it was the emotes, wasn't it? Something like that. Everybody was throwing one of the games was an emote issue. They offered up new emotes, and it's like, you can beat the game without being able to do a giggity dance. I'm sorry. You don't need it.
Right.
It's fun. If you want it, get it.
Right. Again, it's an optional thing, right? So, hey, sometimes you like your character to dance around and, do stupid things. It's okay.
It's Overwatch with their loot boxes. They're same thing. It's all emotes and paints, sprays and skins. You can play the game without it.
I think.
Not to completely derail the conversation, but IGN just put out their official review of Dead Cells.
The official one.
Oh. So like they're not copy. They're not like
the not copy one. Yeah.
Not that guy.
Dead Cells, the unplagiarized edition.
Nice.
Is it DLC content?
Yeah.
Well, there's an editor's note. There's an editor's note that says IGN published Dead Cells review that was found to have unacceptable similarities to another author's work. It was immediately retracted. We apologize again. See our full statement here. The new review was written by a different critic and meets our editorial standards. Note that this review and its score represents solely the opinion of the new reviewer based on his experiences with Dead Cells.
Nice. Well done.
And see,
got a 9.5, so.
IGN, they did the right thing. I find them to be I find them to be a credible company. I like to use them for a lot of information. I go to them to look up a lot of content.
Yeah, Josh, me too, man. I use them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I go to IGN before I even think about looking at Kotaku or Polygon.
Yeah, definitely, especially Kotaku.
Yeah.
Now,
I was going to say earlier that you guys were saying that you're going to hold off on buying a new game until like a month out, and I totally think that that's acceptable, especially for single player games. I would argue that people need to stop pre-ordering. Mm-hmm. That's not helping anything. Also, stop.
That's just people wanting to get their hands on it the very second the damn thing comes out. There are a lot of ravaging game players. My son's one of them. My son's a big Call of Duty fan. Man, whenever new Call of Duty comes out, he's right there, man. He goes to the midnight release and all that crazy shit. Hangs out at GameStop all night. He's eating pizza and shit. Like, I'm like, boy, drink your Mountain Dew. You're right on there, buddy. All right.
Well, I think if you're
You get him some Cheetos.
Damn right.
I think if you're a big fan of like a product or the game that's supposed to come out, and you really want it day one, you want to get it the night that it comes out.
Sure.
You can pre-order it a week out or 2 weeks out. Hell, I would argue, like as soon as the game goes gold, which is what you want to pay attention to, that's when you want to pre-order, because then you're telling the industry like it's the finished game and I'm willing to buy it now.
Right.
The realistic side of it, though, is anything that for especially the AAA stuff. If you're just buying the standard edition, it's going to be available. Honestly, at this point in time, the only thing that really pays to pre-order are like the special editions, like Fallout 76. They're doing that helmet version, and Fallout 4 did the Pip-Boy edition. Those I can understand pre-orders on because it's a limited production with something special to it. With the retail press of the game, it's going to be everywhere, and there's going to be plenty of them.
From my experience, I would argue that you could still wait for those special editions because they are there's going to be extra copies of them. They always make extra copies.
I don't know. I got hosed on the Pip-Boy one up here because of that. Everything that was left was PS4.
I mean, it's not a perfect science, but like I remember with the Halo special editions, there was a ton still left in the store after everything was said and done.
Yeah. Oddly,
this was years ago.
The Call of Duty ones were always really hard to get up here too, at least in this area. Like the night vision goggles, the drone RC car, all those.
Yeah, what y'all need with night vision goggles in Wisconsin, man?
No, not my night vision goggles. I like my night vision goggles. They actually work really well.
I think we beat this one pretty good.
Hey, we're all about beating dead things.
I think I was going to move on to the DC streaming service and the Batwoman casting.
Woo!
Yeah.
What do you want to start with first?
I think we should go with the Batwoman casting.
What do you guys think?
There's going to be a crossover in the fall on the CW, and Batwoman is going to be introduced. And she has been cast as what's her name? Ruby
Rose.
Ruby Rose.
Yeah, it's a chick from I know her from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black.
John Wick 2?
Yeah, I think she was in one. John Wick. Yeah.
See that movie coming out about that big ass shark?
She's also one of the Fast and Furiouses.
Yeah, she is.
Was she? Which one was that? I should know this. I watched them all.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, she was. I don't. Yeah.
But she's going to be
Triple X. She was in Triple X Return of Xander Cage. That was what she was in.
She's going to be the first LGBT actress to portray an LGBT superhero on television.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, right?
I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I knew Batwoman had been that way.
It's typecasting. Sorry.
Yeah. She's only gonna be.
It's not typecasting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the actress was, if she was straight or not. I don't know anything about her.
I'm not sure how she identifies or what her deal is, but I do know that she is LGBT.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, it's CW DC stuff. My expectations aren't too high. It's nothing against her.
See, I'm kind of interested because Batwoman, as she is the Kathy Kane character, is very interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Cool. I mean, that book has probably had some of the most beautiful covers in the past 15 years.
Nick, that's what's kind of got me worried about this, because I like that character in the comics so much, so I'm like more emotionally invested in her. So I'm like, God, please don't fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I can understand.
Like Supergirl, whatever.
Yeah. I can understand you feeling that way. I get concerned all the time with that too. Whenever they're going to do a character, I'm like, oh my god,
the whole CW thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, you know.
Well, the problem with the CW shows is they do have to keep them watered down a bit for TV because they're made for prime time TV.
Yeah, I get you.
My thing with that is, I remember they said like they couldn't use certain characters on the TV side of it because of the movies, but now that they're doing this like Worlds of DC, shouldn't the shows have like free reign then to do whatever they want?
So
like
this is going up on the World of DC. It's not going on TV.
No, it's going on the
This is going
CW.
to be on the CW, but if this stuff is under that umbrella, because what I understood was like the point of them like. I don't know if this was a straight up thing, but like I thought this was true that like they couldn't use Deathstroke anymore in Arrow because he was going to be in the movies and they didn't want to cause like consumer confusion. So they're like, he can't be on the TV show because we're going to use him for these movies.
Yeah. Well, that was
I think by doing that, they're causing the consumer confusion.
Yeah.
Well, I think by not having it all under one shared universe the way Marvel does, I think that in and of itself causes confusion because like me and my wife, I finally got her to watch Infinity War and she was like, oh, I didn't know this had like all of them in it, and I was like, yeah, like that was, this is a big deal when it came out, and she was asking that, she's like, is Batman in this one? And I had to explain to her, I'm like okay, DC and Marvel, they're like Nike and Adidas, know. So
a recent hilarious example of consumer confusion was when Leslie Jones watched Infinity War. Like she hadn't seen a bunch of like the stuff. Forgot Civil War.
Yeah, but like
said, like when's Superman showing up?
Well, look at Gotham. Have y'all watched Gotham yet?
Yeah, and they pretty much have like told every. I watched like, one episode and turned it off like halfway through. I can't even.
I didn't like it either.
You've got every main villain profile in there, but none of them can use the actual name of the villain they're portraying.
Yeah, and like Rob, my understanding as a Batman fan since like day one of my life is that like Batman coming in kind of created those villains. You know what I mean? Like that was like the phenomenon of this mass hero kind of creates all these mass villains or whatever.
Yeah.
It's boiled like as simple as I can put it, but like that's the idea I've had with that show. I'm like, this is like, I don't know. Like every story's already being told before Batman's even around.
Kinda. That's the problem I have with it is that it's sort of advanced too quickly, in my opinion.
I think the premise they said it's a show about Jim Gordon in Gotham before Batman. I was like, fucking A, man. I love the character.
And the first season or two was really good on that. They did pretty well.
They should have based it on Gotham Central.
Yes,
that would have been tight as fuck. That would have been awesome.
Nick, I thought that's what it was going to be based on. Actually,
yeah, I did.
That was a good story.
Yeah, it was great.
And that's what's frustrating to me is when they have these good stories right in front of them that they just don't use. You know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, what do you think with having Batwoman? I mean, because they really can't use Batman kind of on these shows because I think they've kind of strictly trying to keep them in the movies and everything. Are they going to kind of use Batwoman as like their Batman, only just a female version? You know, kind of like, is she going to be
kind of like how they used Arrow as their Batman?
Yeah, they kind of did that too. Yeah, they basically gave Arrow all Batman storyline, basically story arcs and shit. But I mean, I wonder if they're going to have her act as Batman for that universe, you know, or wherever. I don't know what.
They've started mentioning Batman. There's been little Bruce Wayne tidbits here and there.
I have heard that. I've caught that a couple times. Yeah.
And so basically that's all you need to do is, I know Batman.
Yeah. Just name drop. That'll keep people interested at least.
That'll keep people interested.
But like
I do have a weird question about Batwoman because I don't think I've ever read any of the comics. Which is weird to say considering I've read a fucking ton of Batman. Does she have her own rogue gallery? Or does she borrow from Batman's?
She mostly borrows from Batman, but they've created a few characters for her to go against. And her big thing recently is she's been part of Detective Comics.
Right.
So it's been a Batman family storyline. So it's a team based around like her training like the younger heroes and stuff for
kind of like whipping them into shape. More or less.
Like just trying to teach them everything, the mindset, everything, you know, just she's pretty badass in the comic.
No, she's cool as fuck, man.
Really bad. She can fight. She's smart. She's really awesome.
Yeah, and I think this Ruby Rose chick, like she kind of gives off that vibe.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm kind of optimistic, but
she's actually a pretty decent actress.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Experience is like if she shows up in a Batman comic or something like that, but I wasn't sure about her own individual stuff.
Yeah, and Greg, I haven't read much of her individual stuff, kind of like the overlapping stuff only. But I think think she'll be all right. But like, well, what I was saying earlier about that, like consumer confused. Like my wife was, she was asking about the DC stuff, and like I explained, I told her I was like, well, the Flash that's on TV isn't the Flash that's like in the movies, and she was like all confused by that. And like, I take her as like, this is the average moviegoer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't look at me and then like the rest of the people that I associate with because like we all know about this stuff, but I just feel like DC is just confusing a lot of people when they could avoid it, you know. And
Now
the
DC's
Flash one was really bad for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they first said that they were building that universe and that the Arrow and the Flash weren't going to be a part of it. I thought that was a really big missed opportunity, just because those shows already had like a loyal fan base.
Yeah,
you know, and like I would have stayed watching both of those shows if they're tied to the movies, but like even if they got stupid like they did, to me at least, I would have watched them just for that reason. I mean, they had me watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for like 2 seasons. You know,
Dude, I still watch. I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I stopped at like season 2 and then just like never got back into it. But I mean, the only reason I watched it was because I was like, well, this has to do with what's in the movie, so it's like required reading.
right.
And now, oh, go ahead, Russ.
No, I was gonna say they would attach it to the movies every now and then. It's pretty nice, but
That's just
and
an
they
easy
always
way
a lot
to
of
get new
references.
people.
You get Easter eggs.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
It's a way to get new people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what they did with the Flash was akin to taking Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, wiping that out and making him Patrick.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff. Go in and where's Nick Fury?
Oh my God!
And
You
DC
guys do remember he was Nick Fury in the 90s.
Yeah. Was he really?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah, that's
he
wild.
was.
He was.
That's
Well,
why I
was he-
threw out David Hasselhoff.
Hey,
Now
wow.
DC is starting their own streaming service also.
Now that I'm excited for one show, and that's the next season of Young Justice.
Yeah.
I am too.
Like I don't know if you guys watched that
The
show.
only reason
but-
I'm getting the
Right.
Yeah.
the only reason I'd be getting the DC service.
Now the thing is that Disney will have their streaming service going soon,
which encompasses the Marvel
and
Mhm.
Star
Marvel and all Star Wars content after 2019.
Yeah.
So
and now, go ahead.
So DC's streaming service is going to be DC only. It's going to be DC centric. Disney's is going to have all the shit that you want. It's going to
Plus all
have your
this
Marvel
Fox
shit.
stuff, man. They can throw the Simpsons on there.
MASH.
They are too.
Yeah.
Dude,
It was supposed to
love
be
some
like
MASH.
if it's Disney owned now through their purchases of Marvel, Fox, all that. If they own the rights to it, the understanding is that it will all eventually be uploaded to that service.
Yeah, now like with the DC thing, Nick, they got a pretty big ass library of animated shows, animated movies, man.
They do.
Well, the DC streaming service is also supposed to have some
Animated
comic content too, comic and graphic novel
You're
content.
talking about like motion
Oh,
comics,
really?
or, like
Yeah,
where you can go on there and read them, Rob.
yeah. Similar to what
Question
Marvel
for you
does
guys,
with
though.
Unlimited.
Okay.
Here's a question for you guys: if DC does well enough, what do you think the odds are that we'll get an exclusive show on there from a really obscure character, like let's say Lobo?
Lobo's not obscure.
No, he's like a fan favorite. Is that he's like I mean he's like a Deadpool
Amongst the
almost.
Well, that Titan show is going to be
That's
on there.
that's an
So,
exclusive.
and you see
They got
Batman.
what they're trying to do with that. Fuck Batman and all that bullshit.
You know what?
I'll put it this way,
I think
my barometer every time for how the consumer is reacting to these films is talking to my brother and sister, my brother-in-law and sister, sorry, because they don't pay attention to the stuff like we all do. So they don't read the comics. They don't know nothing. As a matter of fact, my brother and I, to kind of fuck with them at this dinner we were having, my brother and I are big Marvel fans, and so I said, all right, I'm going to ask everybody at this table, excluding, like my dad, because he knows the comics and shit. Hulk versus Thor, who wins? And my sisters and my sister, brother-in-law, and my 2 nephews said Thor. My mom said Hulk because she knows. And Josh and I went, nope, you're all wrong. And I go, Josh, you want to tell them why? And Josh goes, because Hulk's strongest there is. And they went, well, I don't understand. And I went, because Hulk's strongest there is, guys. That's the nitty gritty of it. And Josh goes, right, Hulk's strongest there is. And we just kept repeating that back and forth for like 10 minutes. If they'd ask a question, we would just say Hulk's strongest there is. That's the side story that I want to tell that I thought was funny. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is
it's just like cricket.
My life. It's like Ricky Gervais said, you got to tell jokes, and if they land, they land. If they don't, they don't.
Exactly.
Greg, we gotta have you on more often.
My point is that Teen Titans are known well enough.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like with the last, I mean, they've had almost like 10 years of cartoons on Cartoon Network, so like those characters I think are well known now.
Yeah, and that's going to be their that's going to be their hook to get people onto the DC service.
Yeah, sure, and that's what I'm talking about. Like down the line, if it's more successful, do you think we could see a show with an obscure character?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. But I think that the mistake here is it's not going to be a Warner Brothers streaming service. It's going to be a DC streaming service.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where Disney is going to have a plethora of properties, we're looking at DC only having their stuff.
And the problem with that is what are they going to be charging for this streaming service with the amount of offering they're going to have? And we're paying for Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. Now, I'm sure a lot of us. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us are going to be paying for that Marvel Disney service just for the Marvel and Star Wars shit. How many streaming services are we willing to pay for in one crack before we just say to hell with it? Cable was cheaper.
Exactly. Yeah. But so does that mean
you seen my bill from Comcast?
I haven't seen a cable bill in 10 years, my dude.
Yeah, I just pay internet and fuck with all the rest. But so are all those DC movies? Are they going to get pulled off of Hulu now?
Yeah.
No, not everything. The R-rated stuff. Like Deadpool is going to be on Hulu.
I'm talking about like all like the DC animated stuff. Like
that stuff will be pulled on Hulu.
All the DC stuff's going to be going to their streaming service.
So that means
it'll go off of Netflix.
Another huge thing is that Disney now owns, I think, 3/4 of Hulu.
They own a majority share of Hulu.
And they don't need anybody's permission to, basically wait until contracts run out with what they're providing for content right now, and then rebrand Hulu as the Disney streaming service.
See, that's what
that'd be cool because I already have somebody's Hulu account information, so I wouldn't have to buy another thing.
Yeah. When as soon as I heard that part of a big chunk of Hulu came with that was coming with that Fox purchase, my first thought was Disney's going to turn that into they're going to turn that into their streaming service.
Yeah, I mean, they already have the infrastructure there in order to
set up.
Yeah.
No, the question is, are we still going to get the content that's on Hulu now, and then they're just going to add theirs to it, and you're going to pay?
Well,
okay, we're going to use the Disney Hulu.
The thing is Disney owns the majority of the content on Hulu now.
Like
everything. They got FX, they got FXX, they got FXM.
Which means the other question then is too, because I think Hulu is jointly owned by a bunch of the media companies. Do they own 3/4 of the actual Hulu company too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Disney got a huge piece of it. It's like
Disney got a huge piece. They got everything that Fox owned, and they already own ABC, who's a huge, owner in it too.
Right. I think the only thing.
So the odd person out is gonna be NBC.
Right. The only thing Disney didn't get was the Fox channels and their like normal the Fox news stations, regular Fox, sports. And the sports.
Yeah. Who cares about all that? We want the nerd content.
Right.
So Disney's got Simpsons. Disney's got Family Guy, American Dad, all that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I was reading an article too. I don't think that they will convert Hulu to the Disney streaming service. I think they're going to keep it as a separate entity because they were talking about when they start their streaming service, all the main MCU stuff will go to the streaming service, the Disney streaming service, but like the more hardcore stuff, like Deadpool, you know, the R-rated content will stay on Hulu. But the Marvel Netflix shows will stay on Netflix for the time being.
Right.
They said
Netflix has those in perpetuity.
Like, contracts.
Yeah, they've got contracts forever on those.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope so because they did contribute a lot in the development of those shows. I would hope that they would keep them. Wow.
Like, you watch
That was a legit concern though when this streaming service was announced.
Yeah, I was concerned. I was too. I was like, fuck, because I mean, the main one I'm concerned with is Daredevil.
Yes. Me too. So you said about Netflix doing those, like, if you watch enough Netflix shows, like you see like the same, it's like 10 faces over and over again. It's like not extras, but not like stars. They're kind of like side characters. Right. Like that dude from Daredevil. He was in Daredevil season 1. He was like one of the crooks, Turk Bennett or something.
Turk Barrett.
Yeah, and like he was in Stranger Things, and he was in like 2 other Netflix shows that I saw. So like that's like those are Netflix.
He's in every Marvel show.
Yeah,
that character.
And even outside of those, like that's how you know like Netflix is producing those because they're like using these same like I said, not extras, but
it works though.
It might be that they lock actors up to contracts to do a certain amount of work for them.
Yeah, if you're like a small time actor, dude, that'd be a good gig. Like sign a contract. You like know you got money coming in.
Sure, any deal, man. Yep.
Yeah,
it's nice.
A good deal.
That particular actor you're talking about, though, Sam.
Yeah,
he's been in at least 7 different Netflix original productions.
All on Netflix. I can only think of those.
That's Rob Morgan. Rob Morgan's his name.
I can only think of like the Marvel stuff, but I guess if you, like Greg said, if you count all of them, that's like 4 or 5. I know he was in.
Well, he was in a movie, Mudbound, and he was in that limited series Godless.
I was gonna say, like, Josh and I have seen him a bunch of times doing this podcast.
Yeah. That's the thing we've noticed. We're like, holy shit, there's Rob Morgan again. And he's good.
He was in Luke Cage or something too, wasn't he?
He was Turk Barrett, so he showed up in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And that character's actually got a role in Marvel's big crossover coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
We might get to that this week, but we've got a bunch of shit to get there still, and we only got about a half hour, 45 minutes.
You go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say I wanted to touch on some of the Trek news real quick.
Oh, yes.
Cool with everybody.
There you go.
I'm excited about this.
I'm going to start with the negative first. That broke right before the show. Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine are both now out of Star Trek 4 over monetary concerns.
Basically, they wanted more money than the studio was willing to pay him.
Then was in the Star Trek universe.
I had heard about that. I heard that they were in hardcore negotiations, and that they were asking for a shit ton of money.
They said, dude, we got this superhero money now.
Well, I thought the studio was going to give in. I really did.
Yeah.
But I guess they said, no, go F yourself. We'll get somebody else.
So that means they're going to have...
Sorry, I was going to say that I hope that this is actually something that sticks. Just to kind of go outside of Kirk. Maybe we get a alternate universe Picard.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool with me. But I think
would they get James McAvoy?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll type that in, man. That'd be so cool.
Shave Tom Hardy's head again.
Fucking awesome, dude.
Screw that. They're gonna hire Scott Bakula. He's just gonna come back.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise.
Yes, E. Prime Pine is out, and Chris Hemsworth also is out. Chris Hemsworth was supposed to come back in the storyline and a time travel angle to play Kirk's dad again.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. Hemsworth is going to cost them all of their budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose's right. He said in the chat they want that Marvel money, and that's but then Chris Pine's getting that DC money if there's any left. So
I don't know. Hemsworth has become a
bringing him
mega.
back from the dead.
Hemsworth is a mega star now, man. A
Yep.
mega star now. There's,
He's on a
you
new
know,
level.
yeah,
And-
it's like another level. They want him. It's going to shell a lot of money.
And Pine is going to be in the Wonder Woman sequel, Wonder Woman
Yep.
84.
Yep.
I was gonna say Hemsworth is currently
oh.
working on the Men in Black remake with
Yeah.
Is he?
what's her name? I can't think of her name. For it. Yeah, the girl that played Valkyrie in Ragnarok.
Tessa
She's gonna
Thompson.
be just Tessa Thompson. Yeah, she's gonna play
Fucking hot.
Agent M.
I have
For,
no
for-
idea.
What was
for
his
those of
character's
you
name?
who, for those of you who have never listened to
J
it,
and K.
all queued up,
Jay.
Greg can't remember names for shit.
Goddamn mouth.
That's all right. I couldn't remember that Cy Tolliver lived in Deadwood. I thought he got killed before the end, but he didn't.
Oh, Powers Booth?
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
the,
But
An actor.
yeah.
yeah, I did too.
So
Okay, see, that's why I got it wrong, Josh. It wasn't that I forgot a name. It's that she's going to be Agent M, and he's going to be Agent H. So suck on my wormcock.
Yeah!
Make it work for you, baby.
Hashtag wormcock.
So
Okay.
so you
Sorry,
go
go
from,
ahead, Nick.
so you go from that, the negative news about Star Trek 4. And actually just thinking about it, what's going to happen with Zoe Saldana?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because she
so
can
there
make
were no
she can
issues
make
with
those
her?
same demands. And if they're not going to pay Hemsworth and they're not going to pay Pine, they're not paying her.
Dude, so Nick, that's funny you say that because I was just thinking about this. So maybe like with Hemsworth being in on that, maybe like what the idea I'm getting, like just reading into this, maybe too much is that Marvel's wanting him to do a lot more movies.
That could be too, yeah.
And with Zoe Saldana, either they're not asking her, maybe she's dead,
Yeah.
or we just haven't heard about it yet because all that shit is up in the air still with Guardians of the Galaxy right now with all the
Yeah.
James Gunn nonsense.
Right.
So that's my optimistic view is like they want Thor to do a lot more movies, which I'm hoping since they bought Fox that they're gonna. Well, I want them to keep the same Marvel cast for as long as they freaking can.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Though. They're about to lose a lot of actors, though.
We know Robert Downey
Speaking-
Jr. is aging out, and at this point in time, Chris Evans probably is too.
Yeah, I
he's
think
getting
Chris
old, man.
Evans. Well, I mean, they're setting it up. I think for him to be for Captain America, the mantle to be passed on. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be,
They
it's
got
gonna
two
happen.
Oh, they
They
better
got
bring
two
in
people.
Bucky.
Well, they already have him. They got the
Yeah,
Winter
they got
Soldier.
Bucky.
Oh yeah, he's in there. I'm saying that's the story arc. They
They just
better
gotta
follow that
pick up
story
that
arc.
pile of dust from that forest in Wakanda and put it back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, going from the negative Star Trek news, let's go into the positive. CBS All Access has cast a new Star Trek show with Patrick Stewart reprising the role of Jean-Luc Picard.
I think, my
That's
wife,
just,
I think my wife lost her panties when she heard that.
Yeah.
yeah, Anna,
That's her man crush, dude. Anna too.
Yeah.
He
Oh
loves
yeah.
bald
Oh
men.
yeah. Dude, that's the only reason why she liked those X-Men movies was because he was in them.
Wait, Russ.
Huh.
He's all about Patrick Stewart.
Oh, she loves Patrick Stewart, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. She was a huge Star Trek fan, so
Have
she
any
loves
of you guys
Why do you think she likes my bald head?
I know she loves those bald
She's got
guys,
a
dude. She
type.
loves them, man.
got
Hey, you know what?
I know.
Don't be stepping in my shit, Rob.
that's Russ's shit. What are you talking?
Oh, Nick, I'm still gonna DDT you. I'm gonna see it. Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
come
gotta
out. I'm
videotape
gonna
that.
drop in like Sting and give you the reverse. But yeah. So Patrick Stewart's back.
This is cool.
There's not a lot of details about what it's
Yeah.
going to be, how far removed from next gen it's going to be, what, if anything, they're going to deal with any altered timeline or what.
What if it's just him teaching a class?
Man, I'm gonna take
Him
that.
and like
He
him
can
and
do
Star,
it sitting. He can do it sitting down like he did in those movies and things, man.
him teaching at Starfleet.
E Prime in the chat, didn't he say 10 years ago he would never play Picard again? I did hear something about that.
Yeah, I heard
he,
that too.
he released a statement on Instagram explaining why he's going to play Picard again.
And it makes sense too.
And it makes sense. I mean,
I mean,
everybody 10 years ago, there's a lot of shit I said that I wouldn't do that I've done.
Well, and they
It's
tied up
almost like
all
10
the
years ago
ends.
shouldn't be a
It's almost. I mean,
Sorry.
they tied up all the ends with TNG and in the movies for it, and it basically spread the cast, the characters out, and they were done.
Yeah.
You know, there was a finalization to that storyline, so it made sense for him not to want to do it. So they must have come up with a story that made sense to add Picard again.
Yeah.
And like I said, even if it's like a small thing, like I'm cool with that, you know.
Yeah.
well, but the other thing is they can bring a lot of next generation characters
Cameos.
back into the fold.
Mhm.
Cameos, right?
Yeah.
You know they're not doing anything right now.
Well,
Well, Jonathan Frakes is works on the
yeah,
other
he's a
Star Trek
director on
show.
that show, isn't he?
Yeah,
That dude
On,
does
Discovery.
There was oh god, what's her name? The girl that plays Deanna Troy. She's supposed to be making an appearance in it too.
Maria Sturgis.
That's the one.
You guys wouldn't know that.
That could make sense if they, especially if they start going through some of the novel stuff, because like Riker left for the Titan ship, and Deanna stayed with Picard for a little bit before she moved on with him.
Yep.
Right.
Licking that bald head.
Yeah, baby. That's right.
I thought Picard was all about Dr. Beverly Crusher.
In the novels, Crusher and Picard are married and have a child now, and Deanna and Riker are married, and they have their own ship called the Titan.
In the novels, how many times does Picard say, "Shut up, Wesley"?
Wesley
was gone. He took off with the Watcher, right, or whatever the guy's name is.
The Traveler.
The Traveler. That's it, the Traveler. I had the Watcher. Comic book reference. Sorry. Go ahead.
Russ, get it together.
Yeah, really. I get my continuity's mixed up. Yeah, that's right. He ends up. I guess they found out he has powers or whatever he has.
Yeah.
Oh God, bring back Will Wheaton for a
now.
cameo
What
again.
in the novelizations, Nick? Do they have a? Did they tell what happened with Worf?
Yes.
Worf ended up with
Worf
DS9 is.
Yeah.
Well, Worf is the Federation ambassador to Kronos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he works with Martok.
Okay. Cool. Because in DS9 they killed off his son Alexander. They killed him off, and he died during the Jem'Hadar battle and shit.
Russ, did you say DX?
Alexander is in the novels.
I meant to say S.
Alexander is in the novels.
Oh, he is in the novels?
He survived that, yeah.
Oh, he survived that? Okay, well, shit, in the show, they, killed him off, dude. They act like he was dead.
Yeah.
DS9, so, damn. Well, maybe, maybe they thought he was dead, and he
it was confusing.
They put him in a Bacta tank.
Yeah, he turned into DX.
DX.
Brink said he just started watching DS9, and that is my favorite Trek series.
That's my favorite Trek series too.
Yeah, that one was
my
dope.
second.
Yeah. That was actually the next topic. Everybody's favorite Trek series.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
DS9 for me. Right,
hey,
guys.
real quick. How far are we into this?
We were at 10:37.
And we had our first good segue.
Fuck you, man.
Episode 2.
You fucking bitches were like talking from a fucking book club. I tried to get in 4 or 5 times to move shit along, and
hey Sam, what he's really trying to say is hashtag suck some worm cock.
I love
it. Night crawlers.
Also, Brink said, "Thanks for the spoilers, Russ. You suck." Can you spoil a show that started in the 90s, though?
Yeah, sure. All right, let's start with Greg. What was your favorite Trek series and character?
First show that got me into Star Trek, and that's Voyager.
Voyager.
I wasn't super into sci-fi as growing up, but then my friend was like, "Come watch, just watch Voyager with me." And so I started watching that from the beginning, got super into it, went back and watched, DS9 and Next Generation, and eventually got to the classic series. But that's a rough watch. Just does not. Hated Enterprise.
Yeah.
That show was really bad. My brother and I, we constantly talk about like who's the most badass captain.
Yeah.
And we always agree that it's
right.
Okay.
No,
That is who?
Picard.
It's
And
no
story.
to us the most badass captain is the one on Deep Space Nine that I can't remember his name. Not shocking.
Cisco.
Cisco.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he is a badass.
Cisco was pretty badass. Yeah.
Dude, he put Picard in his place in that first episode.
But Picard survived assimilation. End of line.
Yeah, but he didn't survive that sick burn from Cisco.
Yeah. Cisco let him have it, pretty bad. It's pretty good. But Cisco had like a good crew, with him. So
yeah.
All right, Josh, favorite truck series?
Empire.
The fuck?
Now, Josh,
damn it!
The Empire Strikes Back.
Not a Trek fan, Josh?
I enjoy Trek. Honestly, as a kid, I loved the original series. It was always shown on reruns.
Yep.
But Next Generation came along and just totally blew me away as a kid, and I loved it. And it's probably still my favorite, even though I've not watched it in years.
Yeah.
I do love all the movies, though, even the bad ones. I'll watch any Star Trek movie anytime, but I don't get to watch it as much because Misty is not a big fan of Star Trek.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she'll watch like the Abrams verse. She'll watch those. She enjoys those, but like the older ones. Dude, the other day she was bitching because I made her watch The Wrath of Khan one time.
That's like an amazing movie.
It's a good movie. I think even if
She didn't like it. I found out last week. She didn't like Wrath of Khan, and it broke my heart. I was like, I don't know you anymore.
I will say, and I know it's probably a very unpopular opinion, but I say that the Star Wars universe has never made a movie as good as Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. As a huge Star Wars fan, as somebody does a tattoo on his fucking arm of Star Wars, I actually agree with that. I don't think Star Wars has ever had a movie as complex as Wrath of Khan.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars to death.
I love Star Wars and I love Trek, but I think that Wrath of Khan is a better movie than anything Star Wars has ever.
When I think about it,
TNG stuff comes pretty close though. What is it? Insurrection.
So I don't know if you guys hear that, but
the one with the Borg Queen. Which one was that?
First
That
Contact.
was tight.
That's First Contact. Yeah.
That one was dope.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, I don't know, Nick. You might be onto something with that because if I really think about it, I mean, that movie had some good acting in it. I thought too.
Yeah,
I thought it was really decent for a sci-fi movie. You wouldn't expect.
And after the failure, there was the motion picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Back with that was just amazing.
And Khan was a great character.
Khan.
Yeah.
All right, so Josh, who is your favorite Trek character?
Kirk.
Okay.
Dude, I love.
You only say that because he's every green chick in the quadrant.
No, here's the thing. I'm just a big fan of Shatner.
Yeah,
I find him a fascinating person, and as cheesy and as ham-handed as he was,
let me tell you, when I met him, it was one of the best days of my life. The day I got to meet him and hang out with him and talk to him for like 10 minutes.
Oh, dude.
Anna said I looked like I wet myself because I'm so excited.
Fucking Sam playing Kirk.
There was a movie.
He just decked that woman. I don't
It was the 60s, dude. His pimp hand had to be strong.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro.
Yeah.
One quick thing here. Back in the late 90s, there was a low-budget movie that was made called Free Enterprise.
Very good movie.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. So William Shatner plays himself in the movie. And his whole thing is he's in the process of writing a one-man stage play of Julius Caesar, and he's going to play as a musical, and he's going to play all the parts. And one of the guys is like, "Why are you going to do that?" He's like, because I can. You know, and it's just like, and he's probably the only guy that could pull that off. I just find him.
And watch that movie just for the credit scene.
Yes. All right, I'm done.
All right, Rob.
I'm a TNG fanatic from day one, man. I got a lot of love for that show. I mean, to give you my dad and I watched this show together every episode, and when he would deploy with the military, I would tape every episode and wouldn't touch them until he got home, and it was like our original binge fest.
That's cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
But that was a long time ago, wasn't it? You said tape. God damn. You're making
VCR tape that shit.
Nice.
And then hands down Data, man. I love Data. I love
You're a big Data fan? Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Data's awesome, man. He was just different. I loved that he was a different character. He wasn't a Vulcan. He wasn't he was just his own thing, you know.
And his whole take on life was just
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
My favorite Data one was where he got fucked up and turned into the Wild West shooter.
Yep. Yeah. Oh no, mine hands down. When they get stuck in the holodeck program and he's a detective.
That one's
when he plays Sherlock.
Yeah.
And the one where he bangs Yar.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's good too. Yep.
He's fully equipped.
Remember she tells him it never happened. Data's like, oh yes it did. Nice.
All right, Russ.
Well, I was DS9 was my favorite series. My favorite character in Star Trek is Worf, man. I love Worf. I was a huge Worf fan. Just because he was wasn't just that standard Klingon. I mean, it's a guy who grew up on Earth. Grow up in a human culture, but crave his own culture, and he was just a badass, man. My favorite episodes of Next Generation are the episode arcs where, when he's, like when he goes back to his home world to defend his honor of his family and shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of badass, man. That's cool shit,
Dura system.
Oh man, in DS9.
Yeah, and they were good characters too. Ursa and Bator. Yeah, they were great, man. So
my favorite Worf moment actually came out of DS9.
Yeah,
the whole thing with his brother.
Yes. When his brother showed up all drunk and fucked up because he got.
Yeah,
and they erased his memory. Yeah,
and he legit stabbed him right through the.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I liked Worf too, because Worf kind of kept going. I mean, after Next Generation, he went through a lot of shit on DS9, man.
Oh yeah.
Got married. He was married to Jadzia. Jadzia dies. He's got to deal with this other chick.
The fuck out of this for Brink, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I apologize.
20 years.
Next weekend, Brink is going to give you such a punch in the nuts at NJCC.
I'm so sorry, Brian.
Fucking Brinkalized.
Brian's gonna be. I know Brian's screaming like, "Shut the fuck up!"
All right,
Brink, if you want, we'll send you a message across the chat when we're ready to quit spoiling DS9 for you.
That's okay. I think you spoiled the shit out of it enough.
Sam, your favorite series and character?
Next Generation. Like Rob said, me and my dad used to watch that together growing up, so that's got a special meaning to me. And dude, the good captain, man, Picard. I thought that dude was cool as fuck. Even when I was a little kid, and I think I watched a few episodes here and there as an adult. He's got a good moral compass. You know what I mean? So I think he tries to do the right thing. No matter what obstacles get in the way. It sounds cheesy, but that I like that shit. So
no, he was a stickler for the rules until he absolutely had to break them. And he was really So
I mean, that's a good leader.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Hey, Brink is saying he's gonna quit DS9. Spoiler: MPO1 dies.
Hey,
Man.
Too funny. Oh Jesus.
That's a long-standing joke.
But I guess it's my turn. Mine's DS9 and Worf.
Good for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the amount of characterization that they added to Worf and DS9 made him he started to get more time in Next Gen.
He did,
and they started to flesh him out more. But like the whole reason why he's at DS9 and everything that he goes through, all the pain, all the tragedy, and just all the badass moments he has, where like
Absolutely.
you know, Worf is like the line you don't cross.
Yeah.
You know?
No, he's awesome too, man. He does so much stuff, man. It's like you got to see so much more of a side of him, you know, all the different sides. It was great, man. I totally agree with you, 100%.
All right, we've got about 10 minutes. Do we want to touch Infinity Wars or wrestling?
Yo, I wanted to tackle that the lawsuit.
Tackle the wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get
Really want to get into that.
We're probably gonna end up going over 2 hours. And
We probably are going to go over 2 hours, but this is worth it.
This shit.
Yeah, I need another week to read Infinity Wars anyway. So.
All right, cool.
What?
Yeah, I'm messing with it yet.
God damn it, Sam. Fucking F for your homework.
You are a teacher.
The teacher fucking doesn't do his
setting a
homework.
bad example here.
God damn it.
Sam, spoiler, Batman dies.
I didn't do my homework.
Look at him sitting there eating Funyuns and drinking beer.
Shout out to Wesley Willis.
All right, y'all go ahead and start talking. I'll be right back. I gotta get another drink. Hang on tight. I gotta get enough of this shit.
All right, so it came out a day or two ago that Colt Cabana of Art of Wrestling and the announcer for Ring of Honor is suing CM Punk. When CM Punk left WWE, he went on Colt Cabana's podcast and talked about a Dr. Aman that works for the WWE and talked about what he felt was the substandard care that he received. So Dr. Aman contacted Colt Cabana, told him to take the podcast down or basically send him a cease and desist. And Colt went back to Punk. Punk said, don't take it down. If we get sued, I've got you covered with your legal fees. So it ends up going to court. Colt and Punk won. But now it comes out that Punk reneged on his promise to pay for Cabana for all of Cabana's defense, and it showed that Punk messaged him during the trial saying that he wasn't going to cover those expenses anymore, making Colt Cabana have to get his own counsel. So Colt Cabana is suing him for $200,000 plus $1 million in punitive and exemplary damages.
Goddamn! So I didn't know. I didn't get to the part of where it was all the money and shit he was suing for. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
So this is another bridge. I mean, they were best friends forever.
Yeah, they were really tight. They were tight.
This is just another fucking bridge that Punk is burned with fucking napalm.
Dude. It's like that motherfucker is intentionally just fucking crushing everybody, and you can't. I don't know what's wrong with him, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think Cabana's got does he have a legit case? I mean,
I don't think he does.
According to the Colt, hello. What? According to the documents he filed, he does, because he has the text records, and the attorney for Punk actually addressed the issue and said, even though you're not willing to pay for it, Punk has said he will. So,
yeah, but there was also a caveat in that statement. He's like, we're willing to represent you. He said he would cover it as long as, something was not brought into contention of that. I don't know. The thing is, we're only hearing the Cabana side of the statement. We haven't heard anything from Punk. And here's the thing. Wouldn't it be fascinating for this all to be a goddamn fucking work?
Oh my god, dude! No,
as a way to get him back into the business. Although I don't see that happening, I just think it would be an awesome thing. But here's the thing:
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying he's been bad mouthing Cabanas after the podcast happened. So like he's just been fucking burying Colt Cabana. And
see, I wasn't aware of any of that.
Yeah, see, they're no longer friends at all. Punk called him a leech and all this other shit. You know, so
he's been pretty harsh.
And yeah, like with what you're saying though, I mean, basically Cabana had to get new counsel once Punk said he wasn't going to pay for it. And then the lawyer said that he'd represent him, and then the lawyer sent a letter saying that they needed to sever ties. So that's when Colt Cabana got his fucking own representation.
Yeah, I read 2 or 3 different sources about it, and none of them had the same information. And when it comes to the actual Chicago Sun-Times article that published it, had very limited information. So right now it's just like, Jesus. The most regrettable thing about it is, though, you've got 2 guys that were best friends for like 15, 20 fucking years that are now apparently done with each other because of, you know, the whole lawsuit thing. You know, Punk's UFC career, I mean, that didn't take off like he had hoped, I'm sure. You know, he's done there. He's done there. He's not getting that WWE money.
Yeah,
you know, and even if he was smart and frivolous with his money, you know, he's been gone for 4 fucking years now.
And when he left when he was gone from pro wrestling though, for I think after he'd been gone for a year, and his wife was still with the company, and she got paid pretty nice. I'm
sure she didn't get paid as well as he was.
No, nowhere near what he was making. No, because he was a huge draw. But she, you know, but she was doing pretty well though, and so I'm sure they were, you know, financially they were still bringing money in. But I don't. Nick, how long has it been since AJ Lee's was done? It's been like a few years now.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
She's been out 3 years now. She was around for a full year after.
Okay,
so even
she's been doing modeling. She
wrote a book. I know that. Yeah. So she's doing other
even
stuff.
then, though, you know, he's dropped $500,000 on the legal fees already, and you know, it looks like, you know, Cabana's wanting to pay the other $500,000 on the legal fees. And if he doesn't, then Cabana's like, okay, well, if you're not going to pay that $500,000, you give me 1.2. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Well, Cabana's suing for $200,000.
$200,000 for the legal, and then $1 million for the
damages.
Yeah,
exemplary damages. I'm like, I can see a judge saying, you know what, give him the $200,000, but fuck the $1 million. That's, you know, no.
Well, see,
it's just a damn shame that a friendship's falling apart and the shit's getting dragged through the fucking mud like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Punk still.
Oh, I love Punk. Punk was my favorite wrestler.
But like you said, I mean, this is just a bad fucking situation.
Yeah, doesn't look good, man.
And the thing is like Punk hasn't kept anybody. He's burned bridges with every motherfucking buddy he can. And, and like there's rumors that he's going to be at All In, and I don't see it happening.
No, I don't see it happening either. I don't think he's ever going to come back to the wrestling world. I don't see it happening. I think what he wants to do is just to fade away, to disappear. Nobody know who he is. Everybody forget about him in the public eye and just live his life like a normal person. I think that's what he wants.
I mean, he's got avenues for income if he wants to fucking explore.
Oh, he does.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, hell, the independent wrestling, all the independent wrestling promotions will pay him a shit ton just to do appearances, man.
Well, not even that. He doesn't even have to abuse his body anymore. He can just do fucking shoot interviews and shit.
Well, no, that's what I meant.
He doesn't even have, he's written comics.
Yeah,
you know,
No.
he could always get a job in the comic industry, you know.
No, but Nick, there's promotions out there. They don't even want him to wrestle. They just want him to show up and talk shit, do an appearance. Basically, that's what it is. And
He could do that, but I mean, the money for him would probably be in shoot interviews.
I would imagine so.
Like kayfabe commentaries would pay out the half him.
Well, would it be fun though too to hear his side of the story with the WWE thing a little bit more? I'd like to hear more about that. You know, about what went down with that and exactly because there was a whole medical thing. Like he had sued the doctor or whatever. And,
did you never listen to the podcast he was on with Cabana where he talked about that?
No, I didn't hear it. I never heard it, actually. No,
it came out right after Thanksgiving in 2014.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I might have to try to go back and catch that on the back.
It was he goes exactly into all the shit you were just talking about.
Yeah.
They fired him. They fired him on his wedding day.
Yeah, I remember hearing that part of it. I heard that about that. But the WWE has done some shady shit, dude. They're fucking cruel to people sometimes.
Vince McMahon is vindictive.
Oh, he is. He's a harsh motherfucker, man. You know, and I guess you don't get to be as successful as he is, right? If you're not a dick. I think you got to be a dick along the way. Yeah. And I think he's probably a little more than he needed to be, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man. It's an interesting story. I'm wondering how it's going to play out.
Yeah. I mean, with them winning the lawsuit against Amon, I mean, this should be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody watch Raw this past week?
Yeah, I did.
Or the week before?
I did not.
I watched the past couple weeks.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Brock Lesnar attacked Heyman at the end of Raw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, he sure did.
And then this week, they had a segment with Paul Heyman and Renee Young.
Yeah, and he's doing an interview with,
Heyman did an interview, and it was probably the best promo he's ever done.
Really?
Well, he acted all afraid.
He has got some legendary fucking promos in his.
He's my favorite.
He was crying. He was just he actually acted like he was shook.
Yeah,
it was amazing to watch. So that brings me to the question: is Heyman now the best manager ever?
Wow, that's wow. I was a big Jim Cornette fan. So.
When you think of the best managers ever, you know, there's three that come to mind. Jim Cornette, Paul Heyman, and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Okay. I go with that. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I
don't think you can single him out as the best manager ever. But I think if you were going to make a Mount Rushmore of managers, those are the first three you put on the fucking Mount Rushmore.
Now, do you put Heyman before Cornette?
You know what? Okay,
because you gotta remember going back, man. You gotta remember going back. The Dangerous Alliance.
Yes, I do. He had some serious. Like
I put Heyman above Cornette for, you know, his on-screen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as a business mind, I put Cornette above Heyman.
Well, as a business mind or a booker?
Booker.
You put Cornette ahead of Heyman as a booker.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
From what? Well, like from OVW and Smoky Mountain?
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. That was where those were Cornette's. There was some good stuff back in those days, man.
That was some great shit.
But
Heyman, you know, he
created ECW, man.
Yeah,
ECW.
I mean, it was great, but he also went out in a flaming ball of
He sold it to WWE.
Right. You're talking business though, but Cornette ran 2 promotions basically into the ground.
That's true. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's why he's a better heel manager.
well, you were saying like as a businessman, but I'm just talking about booking. I'm talking about ideas,
booking wise of the old school mentality. Cornette, hands down. Booking wise of being able to stay relevant and modern. Heyman, hands down.
Yeah.
Because
That's
Cornette, while he loves the old school shit, he hates this new school stuff.
I will tell you
But
this.
Heyman can make it relevant and entertaining and interesting.
I don't think Cornette can be a booker in today's pro wrestling world. I don't think he could do it. I think Cornette would struggle to do it.
He was on the booking committee in TNA and had to quit.
And
Ring of Honor.
And Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I just don't think he can handle it because it's the demands that are on there that are put on from by the talent nowadays.
Well, the thing
he doesn't have
he
doesn't have the temperament for it these days.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
That's one thing. And then what Josh said is he hates anything that's to do with hardcore wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Unless it's the fucking Tupelo fucking bullshit.
And he hates shit like Joey Ryan's out there doing with the fucking dickplex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hates Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't like. That's right. He's not a big Kenny Omega fan. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
that's interesting. Okay.
It was an interesting point, like that Josh made about like a wrestling manager, fucking Mount Rushmore. So there's 4 on Rushmore. Do we want to do 5?
No.
4?
Keep it 4. Keep it 4.
Okay.
I know I would have Cornette, Heyman, and Heenan. I'm trying to think of who I would put as the 4th.
Okay.
There's J.J. Dillon.
Even though the Horsemen were one of the greatest factions of all time, I don't think Dillon was the greatest manager.
What about Captain Lou Albano? Classy Freddie Blassie.
I would put Freddie Blassie above either J.J. Dillon or Lou Albano.
Yeah, I think so too.
Rob, did we drive you out with this?
No, my wife was messaging me.
Oh.
I'm listening. I'm learning. I'm so far out of touch with wrestling.
I know, but like you used to watch in the 80s and shit, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Greg?
Yeah, Jose. He brought up Paul Ellering.
Yeah,
Paul.
God,
Precious Paul.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking as like to fuck with you guys, Paul Bear.
Yes.
Paul Bear.
I love
Percy Pringle.
Percy Pringle.
Yeah,
he was
that's
great.
not a bad choice.
No, it's not because that's what I know him as, Percy Pringle, back in the day. And when he came out and then the whole Paul Bear shit, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
And Jose brings up in the chat. He was the one that mentioned Paul Ellering, Heenan, Heyman, Elizabeth, and Sensational Sherry also.
You know what? I forgot. I forget about
Fuji.
Sherry.
Fuji
was
Grand
another good
Wizard.
one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, dude. Damn. What about Woman?
Here's a guy who doesn't get a lot of love as a great manager. Gary Hart.
Gary Hart.
Oh, okay. Now Gary
James
Hart,
Mitchell, the Sinister Minister.
interesting thing about Gary Hart too
Slick.
is he was a booker too back in the day too, and he was
Jose just mentioned Slick.
Slick was pretty good.
Who's the guy that used to manage Booker T and shit?
Colonel Rob
Parker.
Yes.
That's the thing, and that gimmick was so racist at first.
It was, but it was funny as shit.
He came out as a white Southern plantation owner, and he brings them in as Harlem.
Yeah.
He actually had them in chains the first time he ever brought them out, and I was like, "Holy fuck, that's racist as shit."
Yeah,
and that was the only time you ever saw the chains, I think.
There was also Jimmy Hart.
I was about to say Jimmy Hart. Jimmy, the mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart.
God, how did we not bring up Jimmy Hart before now?
Well, I think it's because Jimmy Hart. I forget sometimes Jimmy Hart. Like, I don't know. I just forget about it, dude. I just do.
Jimmy Hart was just so versatile.
Yeah.
It was insane.
From what he did in Memphis all the way up to WCW.
My favorite time of him managing was when he managed the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah,
and he was it was the flamboyant shit. It was just insane, man. It was great.
And having that little bullhorn and yelling at ringside.
Yes.
So I think we pretty much probably got our. For me, my Rushmore would be Heenan, Heyman, Cornette, and Scary Sherry.
Scary Sherry.
Yeah, man. I don't think it. I mean, Woman is close because of the stuff she did with the Horsemen.
Yeah.
And the stuff she did with Kevin Sullivan down in Florida. But I mean, Sensational Sherry, man. I mean, I don't see a better woman manager. Elizabeth is like the classic, but
if you look at the great ones that Sherry has managed, Rick Martel, okay, Shawn Michaels,
yeah,
right? Wow, right? Macho Man, Randy Savage,
Harlem Heat,
Ric Flair.
That's right.
Yep, Ric Flair.
Yeah, she's been involved with some big legend players. You know what I mean?
She was the first woman manager that would strike fear in your heart, man, because you didn't want that crazy bitch coming after you.
Not at all. That she was. Yeah, there was a frightening woman, man. She was great though.
So yeah. I mean, I think that's my Rushmore. Fucking,
it's not bad.
Yeah, Heenan, Heyman, Cornette, and Sherry.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah.
Would you go, Josh?
Well, Heenan, Heyman, and Cornette definitely. I think I would probably. The fourth one, I don't know, man. When it comes to the names and you look at the big names, of just who they had in their stables, I think I would put Jimmy Hart on there instead of Sherry. Just because of, the big names he managed over the years. I mean, he also did manage Hogan.
Yeah.
Who's arguably still the biggest name, even though it's a tainted name at this point. But Demolition, Honky Tonk Man, the Hart Foundation. So I'll go with Jimmy Hart.
It's so hard for that fourth spot. I mean, because
it really is.
You got the
There's a lot of people you could rotate into it. I could easily put Freddie Blassie in there. I could easily
Freddie Blassie managed Hogan too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did. It's true. Back in the early days. Yep.
But
I think that's pretty good.
Who you going with, Rob?
I don't know. Purely basing it on entertainment value, Elizabeth was dope.
Yeah,
I always like the shit she did. Heenan was always dope. Paul. Oh Jesus Christ, my brain is fried tonight.
Ellering or Heyman?
Undertaker.
Oh, Paul Bearer. Okay.
Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Percy
Pringle.
That's another.
I don't want to call him Paul Pringle. It's like that ain't right.
His whole run as Percy Pringle is so underappreciated, and I'm glad that the network has the WCCW shit.
Dude, Nick, it's where I knew him from. I knew him as Percy Pringle, and when I like I said when he showed up on the WWF for the first time as Paul Bearer, I was shit myself. I was like, that's Percy Pringle. Yes. And he was so good. Oh man,
Undertaker.
Yeah, it was great.
The only thing he's scared of is cucumbers.
No, it's.
Have you got an opinion?
Pass me on this one.
Same for you, Greg.
I remember.
Yeah, same here. I don't know very much well enough. So
the last wrestling topic we wanted to get into was strongest and favorite factions.
Okay, who wants to go first?
We gotta go with our namesake. Come on, man. End of line, our namesake, D-Generation X.
4 Horsemen.
Oh, 4 Horsemen.
Specifically, the lineup that included Flair, Blanchard, Arn, and Barry. That incarnation of 4 Horsemen, hands down. I grew up in the Mid-Atlantic territory.
Okay.
That's what I grew up on.
You like that version of the Horseman better than Rick, Arn, Tully, and Lex Luger?
Yes, hands down.
Luger,
Because
Luger was a
trash.
shitty horseman.
Yeah,
Luger was trash.
What about Oli? You liked it better than Oli as well?
Oli's a cocksucker.
Yeah.
What's funny about Oli is I think when he was part of the Horsemen, when they first started up, he was kind of at the end of his in-ring career, really.
Mm-hmm.
He almost became like another manager to him,
Yeah, he was more or less the mouthpiece.
Yeah, he was more like almost like J.J. Dillon and him were both the mouthpieces. It was kind of interesting. They were around, but that's interesting. Barry Windham was really good. Barry Windham was great.
And the funny thing about the Horsemen is they were able to survive shitty members like Luger, Vader, Sting, Roma.
Good point.
Yeah.
What's
Orndorff?
that? Oh God!
Was Orndorff a horseman?
I don't know.
I think he was at one point. But
what about I know. God.
And then they were able to reinvent themselves, in the
they had Brian Pillman.
Yeah, they had. They had Pillman,
and that launched his whole loose cannon thing.
Well, I was thinking more, when it was Flair, Arn, Benoit, and Mongo.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good lineup.
Do you remember that? Remember that was the lineup where they tried to. Arn was taking more of a almost being the J.J. Dillon role.
Yeah,
and they tried to bring Piper in. And he told them, "Go fuck yourselves." Basically, and they beat Piper's ass.
And they brought Perfect in, and he turned NWO.
Yeah. That's interesting. That was some good storylines, man. They're pretty good. But look
Sam,
how
you got one.
DX.
DX.
I just remember that.
So that's 2 votes for DX. Greg, you have an opinion?
Yeah, but I can't remember what it was called. But my favorite during the Attitude Era was Mankind's thing with like Jon Snow and not Jon Snow, but
Al Snow.
Jon Snow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the Job Squad.
Is it the Job Squad?
Yeah. It was Al Snow, Mankind, and who else was
right. There were
there was one more.
There
Val Venus was in there for a bit.
Val Venus
wild.
Oh, he's the Union.
The Union.
Right. Was different.
Yeah, it's the Union.
Right. That's right. Jose, thanks for that.
Big Show was in the fucking Union too, wasn't he?
He was. He wasn't it? Yeah, he was. He joined up with them. Yeah.
I just remembered always making me laugh, and I always enjoyed watching, like, especially when Mankind was talking to Al Snow. That shit was hysterical every time. So.
Nice.
All right. Mine is probably considered one of the worst factions of all time.
Oh, I can't wait.
Loved it.
You got me intrigued.
It was my favorite faction because of how ridiculous it was.
You're gonna say the dudes with attitudes.
My fucking favorite faction of all time is the Dungeon of Doom.
With Kevin Sullivan?
Yes.
And who was it? It was Kevin Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan was the Taskmaster.
Earthquake is the Shark. Fucking Kamala was in there. Motherfucker. The Yeti. Fucking
I know what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the Varsity Club when Kevin Sullivan.
Varsity Club.
No, I love the
Taskmaster. That was the other Taskmaster.
Yeah, he was the Taskmaster there.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. That was a good. That was.
Dude, they were entertaining. It was fun to watch people fuck with Hogan, and the fact that they got away with dry humping Hogan at the fucking end of a pay per view with 2 7-foot dudes.
They were like the freak show of the it was really fun to watch.
They were the oddities done right.
That's right. They were.
Posse at WWF.
Yeah. But
that was pretty good. Dude, they had so many legit dudes in there. Fucking John Tenta, who played Earthquake and Avalanche, was a fucking sumo wrestler.
Yeah,
like legit, just below the Yokozuna rank. They had fucking Haku. They had the Barbarian.
Yeah.
You know,
they all the freaks, man.
Yeah,
like freak show. This was great.
And legit tough guys too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we could do a whole fucking show on Haku stories.
Yeah, Haku was that dude's been around, man. Shit.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one, Nick. That's a good one, actually. My favorite one. I mean, I love DX a lot, but I would say my absolute favorite is Evolution. I was a big fan of. I just like the grouping. You had Flair. You know, you have Orton's the young guy. Batista. I love Dave Batista. He's awesome. And then of course Triple H. You know, it was just I don't know. It was a great combo, and a lot of people go, ugh, like, hey, dude, I love them, man.
I can't stand Triple H.
Have you guys ever seen a YouTube video titled "The Story of Triple H"? I think it's something like that. But it's basically the guy Max Landis who wrote and directed a couple movies. He also did a really huge one called "The Death and Return of Superman," where there were celebrity actors just kind of doing the acting. Like it was. I don't know. It's really fucking funny because Max Landis basically goes through the rise and fall of Hunter Hearst Helmsley, quote unquote, and it's fucking fascinating. But here's the twist: all of the male characters are performed by female actors, and vice versa.
Nice.
It's so, and Chloe Dykstra actually plays Triple H.
Oh shit!
I'll have to link it to you guys because it's really good.
Jose in the chat says he loved the angle when Earthquake squashed Damien, Jake the Snake's fucking Python.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It was in the bag.
Master Skinny Toys talks Brothers of Destruction, Kane and Undertaker. That brings us.
Hold on.
Dude,
what about
the Ministry?
Yes, the Ministry. Yes. Dude, that was crazy because he had a lot of good wrestlers in that group.
The Brood.
I'll tell you somebody who I loved, but you know, the Flock. I love the Flock.
Yeah, Raven's Flock. Yeah, Billy Kidman, fucking Van Hammer, all that shit.
Stevie Richards.
I
love Stevie.
That was Raven's crew, right?
Yeah.
Raven's crew. Yeah. That's amazing, dude. You guys are reminding me of fucking factions I forgot about. Actually, damn. The Flock is really good.
Like, if I was trying to say, like, my favorite is Dungeon of Doom, but if I had to say the two best, like, in my opinion, because I was a huge WWE guy, I wasn't into WCW, NWA growing up. Mine would have to have been the Heenan family in fucking the NWO. The Heenan family fucking worked every fucking pay-per-view. They went against everybody that was in the top spot. Bobby Heenan managed fucking
Jesus.
It was amazing.
Yeah, he always had like the best talent, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit.
Now, when you mention NWO, here's the problem with NWO. I liked NWO when he first were started, and there wasn't that many of them.
Once it got to where everybody was in the NWO and the NWO had factions, it was just way too much.
Yeah,
overkill.
Then it got to be retarded. I couldn't stand it. I was like, give me a break.
If they had kept it with
the original floor.
Hall, Nash, Rude, who was it? DiBiase, Waltman, and Hogan, you know.
I just think they should have kept him at no more than 6.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when they blew up to where it was like 20-something fucking guys come walking out to the ring, all wearing NWO shirts, you're like, Jesus Christ, come on, man.
I mean, when you think about it, like, only the Horsemen and fucking Goldberg weren't fucking in some part of the NWO or LWO.
Yeah, because even I guess Sting technically was in the NWO, or was it?
He was in the Wolfpack.
He was in the Wolfpack, right? Yeah, so he was part. Yeah,
with Luger and Conan and Hall and
Nash.
Yeah. No, not Hall. Hall wasn't in it at first, because remember Hall and Nash had split.
Yeah, that's right. So they were a foursome. But
no, there was a fifth. I can't remember who it was.
Scotty?
Yep. Scott Steiner.
Big Papa Pump.
Holler if you hear me.
Holla if you hear me.
Man, look up his fucking Scott Steiner's math, Steinernomics or whatever it was called. Oh my god.
See, fucking Sam is muted right now, or else I'd tell him to fucking go ahead and Google Steiner chest.
You see how banged up it is?
Oh no, dude, it's the pec separation that wrestlers got.
Yeah.
Jericho's got it really bad.
Mm-hmm.
For some, Kofi's is getting really bad.
It's starting to get a lot more noticeable on Kofi.
Yeah, Kofi has it. Kenny Omega has it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Sam's got it. Steiner chest. Look at that shit.
That is insane, dude. He is a freak. His body is freakishly it's dude, the roids or whatever the hell he did.
It's the steroids, man.
It was roids, man, because
the steroids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Jericho's got it. Kofi's got it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the guys that have taken 1 billion chops.
Mm-hmm.
No, true, but I'm talking about just Steiner's muscle. The way if you look, dude, his muscles have muscle on muscle. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like,
Jose in
crazy.
the chat says he loved when Sting came down from the rafters on a Nitro and kicked all their asses.
That was cool.
Oh yeah,
That was cool.
Yeah, that's when he had
no-
the bat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and another one I just watched was when he came down out of the rafters and saved DDP and brought DDP up in the rafters with him.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. All right, guys, we are hitting 2.5
we've been going a while.
hours. I think it's time to
Time
let
to-
these
time to
people
lock it up.
rest.
Yep.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
has been Masterpiece Shippies Theater, episode 2, in living color. I am happy everybody showed up. Thank you guys for supporting. And again, everybody that gave us shout outs this week was super appreciated.
Yeah.
Plastic Fanatics, James Show, Brian Brink on ETR, and Jose having the whole cast on Verbally Challenged was just
Yeah.
amazing.
That was a really good
That
time.
was so much fun.
That was
You know what?
that was so much fun, and Jose will have you on real soon as things work out and we have room and all that good shit.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out. Hey, Greg, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a lot of fun having you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Good
Don't
to
You're
meet
very,
you.
you're very
Anybody-
good knowledge.
Yeah. To anybody watching,
Yeah, I think I went on a little too long about microtransactions and shit like that, but
no, dude, that was the point of having you on. Was
Yeah, that was the whole point. We had some video game stuff. We just didn't touch on the esports stuff because I figured we covered video games for long enough.
Yeah, you dropped like a lot of knowledge, man. I appreciated
Yeah.
it. And
It's good to have a perspective of somebody that's a little more experienced than we are.
we want
Absolutely.
to touch on the esports stuff too, and we want to have you back on for that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm always down.
All right. So, guys, I'll go ahead and drop an unbroadcasted link in the Masterpiece Shippies Theater Facebook group on my personal page, and I will see you guys later. Again, thanks for all the support. Thanks for the views. We really appreciate it. If you have any criticisms or positivity you want to send this way, hit one of us up on Facebook. We're willing to listen, and we want to put out a product that people are going to enjoy.
For sure.
So, love you guys. Peace.
Shout out to the chat.
Hashtag
Awesome
Wormcock.
tonight.
Yeah, Wormcock.
Hashtag Wormcock. All
we
right.
got 15 likes and 2 thumbs downs. All right, nice. All right.
I'm showing 20 and 2.
Are you? Well, I might need to. My phone might need to catch up.
Yeah,
all good.
hamster's running low.
You
All right,
get you some of that
everybody.
4G,
Good night.
Russ.
Peace. Love
Later,
y'all.
guys.
Bye.
Later, everybody.
Everybody.